You snake. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Yeah, let's go, let's go, baby. Boy.
70 plus years old. He's gonna give me $200 for the meeting. I said, do you mind younger? This guy's 70 plus years old. Okay. This is your first time ever meeting an underage boy. What made you do it today?
I don't know. We weren't going to do anything. I had nowhere to go. So.
We weren't gonna do anything. That's not what we said, right? So we talked about, I mean, you wanted my dick size, you wanted my dick pic, you wanted to pay me $200 to top you. Do you do that often? Do you pay people for sex a lot?
No.
So what made you decide to pay for a six? So you want to pay $200 to have sex with a 15-year-old?
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. It is crazy. And you're telling me you've never done this before? Never, never. It's the first time. And what were you gonna do? Just play with him in the car, or what was your plan? Be honest with me.
To talk to him, basically.
So what was the $200 for?
Talk?
You were gonna pay a 15-year-old $200 just to talk to him.
Talk.
Come on, man. Let's be a little more honest. Because if I call the police right now, do you think they're gonna go off of your word, or are they gonna probably go off of the text messages, or do you think they're gonna go off your word? Right, right. What do you think would happen?
So who are you?
My name's Tommy. I'm with CPP. It's Colorado Pet Patrol. So Pet Patrol, like Pet Patrol.
Oh,
And I catch online predators that go after younger kids, exactly like this.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, do you think it's wrong that you're here?
Yes.
So what happened today? What made you show up today?
To talk to him, I also had to return an item.
You didn't even know where this Walmart was.
Well, I'm
from Broomfield.
I get that.
He's told 120th and Sheridan, and I'm thinking, well,
You didn't have to return an item to this Walmart. Did you already do it?
yeah.
You already returned an item here.
It was 3 resistant bands.
Okay.
You got 31 and 86 back.
But you wanted me to go to Kohl's.
Well, because you said
Did you have to return something at Kohl's too?
no.
So why'd you want it? So your intention, what I'm saying, your intention was to meet a 15-year-old. You weren't coming here to your trip right now. You might have took a return because it was on the way to meet the 15-year-old, right? So it was 2 birds, 1 stone. But your intentions were to meet the 15-year-old today, correct? Okay. And you've never done this before. Do you know it's a felony to? It's enticement 1, okay? And then you groomed a 15-year-old. If I'd have stayed online with you a little longer, you were asking for pictures. I probably could have got pictures of your penis.
I wouldn't send them.
You wanted to. You wanted to trade pics.
Just face pics is all.
Just face pics. You asked my dick size, and then you asked for pics. Typically, it's dick size.
No, and I said, that's fine.
I said no, right? But if I would have said yes, we would exchange dick pics. So you're lucky you don't have child porn on your phone right now, you know, because you thought it was a 14-year-old, right? 15-year-old. I'm sorry, 15-year-old. A lot of times I say 14, sometimes I say 15. But do you think it's okay for a 60-plus-year-old to come meet with a 15-year-old? Do you think you have a problem? The day you cross the line.
Yeah, I did.
People can play this champ all they want, but you have to realize that at the end of the day, this champion is a very low agency champ. It's just how it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. In terms of the specifics of it, you can't farm this. So when we made it to Diamond the first time, was it with these these, for lack of a better term, was it with these types of like flaccid picks? Jace, Silas. You're playing like you're basically. So here's the cold truth here.
Yeah, the cold reality.
Unless you've made Diamond maining Jace and Corky and Silas, you're flat. You can level your E if
Yeah, I'm hovering like with my key binding here. Oh, there's Lee.
Oh, okay, perfect. Flank him. Flank. Yeah. He's gonna be really sad when he sees that. No, he flashed. What a monkey. Wow, what a bad player.
Well. Them.
Cool.
We got him, boys.
They just stay top and relax.
Yeah. It's too late to go into this bush, right? He should be here now.
You can go into that bush if you want. It's Gragas, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And chat, just for reference point here, while we're waiting for the minion waves to spawn, the reason the Gragas pick is so bad is because there's nothing. You're picking a tank. You're counter picking yourself with a tank. So Gragas is just like relinquishing all agency in top lane, like literally anything else, like a Renekton, a Fiora, a Camille, a Garen. Even, I mean, Garen's not great, but Jesus, literally anything would have a little bit more power into the Silas. Other than a tank. We saw with the Cho'Gath top what this looks like.
Oh yeah, I saw that was quite funny.
Yeah, but this is what happens if you play.
I love that matchup.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like Gragas is reducing his ability to ever kill you. He's gonna be reliant on the jungle in so many points of the game.
Oh fuck, he did run away.
I would be very careful with these trades. You need to look where Xin Zhao is.
Yeah.
He's never gonna bail you out of a bad position. You need a ward now, and you need to use a pot.
Yeah.
Put the ward in the. I would put it on that little shoreline between Tri and top.
Oh yeah. Here, right?
Yep, exactly. It's a good trade there. Nice. Please mid. We can maybe dive this guy. Give him to auto you. Walk up and get him to auto you. Just like stand in front of him and don't auto him.
Oh, the minions. Sorry.
Stand in front of him, yeah. Oh god. Okay.
Nice card. Nah.
Use your pot. Lee's coming for you.
Oh, he's leveled up. Do I just reset here?
Yeah. You didn't let him auto you enough. You panicked. I'm gonna go over that
Yeah,
spot
well,
with you.
Yeah, I was afraid that he was gonna
Dark Steel.
level up. Oh yeah, Dark Steel.
First this Dark Steel.
It's good. Yeah, but I was afraid of the level up there. That's the reason. Probably bad reasoning though.
Before I get off this coaching, I need to go over that dive. You need to play that dive a lot better than that. You're in such a strong spot. You should probably start trading. Yeah, there's the phase rush gone, which is exactly what you wanted. He's so mad.
Oh, he took it.
It's all right.
Well, this way.
Trim the wave. Trim the wave out. There you go. Now you can just reset for TP, I think. Perfect.
Yeah, he TP'd back, I'm pretty sure as well.
Buy a
But he
book
was
and
there.
then let's get out there.
Grip cannon. No.
Yeah.
Do I try to freeze this if possible? Or is it too big?
I think it's too big. It's not a big deal anyways.
Fuck.
Let's relax.
We don't want to try to fight him here with level lead.
We do, but the thing is I don't know where Lee is yet.
Good ward here.
Just let it breathe. You can do short trades as long as you keep your E. The wiggles, what the fuck? Because I'm scared that if Lee shows up while you're going crazy, yeah. I mean, at this point now, you might as well just commit to the shove and 2v1, I think. Yeah, just commit to it. I don't think we get 6 on this, but you might. Oh, you actually might. It's very close. I say go for 6 to dive him. Lee's mid.
Grab it.
No dive. Maybe flank mid with this. Yeah, let's go to mid. Go behind it. Path more wide.
Like this.
Hit the plant. Use it. Because I want you coming out and making a money move here. Or yeah, that's why we're flanking. Yep. Well, then we just walk it in, and then we should be able to pick up some kills or a kill. Is this guy dead
no
already?
kill.
The fuck?
We take mid
Yeah,
farm.
yeah. Good idea. Go back to top. Back to top.
There's Lee. I don't feel like that's a good idea to fight because Gragas is gonna rotate right.
Take that plant.
Yep.
Cool.
My ult is not gonna last for long though, unfortunately. That's
Lee's top side pathing towards. I don't think he's coming back towards top, but he might be. Why is this guy so confident? That'd be my question.
might as well. Was gonna run out anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. You could trade with him. Lee's mid. I guess we could have traded with him when he bellied into us. I don't like giving up cannon for that. It's not that important to me.
True. we try it anyway now?
Yeah, you could trade. 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 Take his mana away.
Oh, I was. Yeah, I thought it was gonna walk upwards this time, but didn't. Let's see.
Just keep pulling his mana away. Yep, trade, 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 trade. What are we waiting on? Trade. You could just lean into this guy. Of course, the one time we go for the trade. He paths all the way back up and wraps around.
It would be like that.
Either way, though, the slowness of these trades, though, because you could be pulling this guy's mana away before before Lee gets there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you know Lee's
I
mid.
understand,
When you know Lee's mid. Yeah. What's going on there with the rise?
Fighting.
Funny game, League of Legends.
Funny game indeed. Oh, do I need to?
Ah, we can rotate over. We have ult soon.
Fuck, we didn't hit the chain. No, he's gonna jump over. Fuck it.
You're okay, I think.
Oh,
I've seen worse things. I've seen worse things on the internet.
Yeah. My E, like, yeah, I tried to use the E ult combo there, but it, my E didn't hit.
Lucidity's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was gonna. It's AP Gragas as well. Do I wait for TP here or just walk?
Let's just TP forward. No, wait, no. Okay, fuck it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I was for the pot.
We're gonna hard shove though. We're gonna hard shove though. Try to get this under to get Gragas TP maybe, and then we'll flank mid.
See.
All right, let's go right to mid. Flank him again.
Yeah, to
Some
the
chickens. Yeah. You need to put your ward over like red or chickens though. Nah, that's a
okay.
shit ward. There's no need to even put
ward
that there.
doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no
Okay.
play. You should hover the plate. Okay.
Here's a play here.
They know you're mid and they're fighting anyways, so. Rise TP, yeah. Rise TP. Yeah, dive. Ping it. 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 Good.
Let's go.
Alright, let's reset.
We don't need anti-heal, right? So.
Yeah, build quickly. Let's go get out there. E out. You have blue?
Yeah.
God, that Gragas pick was just atrocious. Atrocious. It's like the worst
It's a
pick you
funny
could
pick.
run into this.
Yeah.
I'm all for playing like your mains, but this is like this would be like intentionally picking Tryndamere into like Sat Malphite and like Lulu. It's just not a good idea. It's just not good.
I wanna force this away, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna push really quick here because if we don't get up there and crash it quick, I don't think we can do anything about the dragon fight, but we can most certainly try to get his TP and then rotate and see if the mid option is available again. Here's the thing about this tank shit is that we can just keep rotating the mid to abuse it. Yeah, just rotate. Good rotation.
Do we?
I like the path. The path is yes, the one behind them. Yes. And you come out. Yeah, you come out and then see if they overdive it. There it is, right there. You can probably get this kill. See, easy money. Let's go back to top after. And guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do it again and again and again. We're gonna keep doing that. Yeah. That's what he gets for playing Gragas, though. You see.
Yeah.
Good to hear, Daniel. Welcome, welcome. Get right into shove mode. Yeah, if he wants to be stupid, we just shove into him all day. Oh, I hate that ult. It's so rushed. Just you could have. You're not seeming to get that. E, just E. Yeah, just E. There's nothing you can do about it. You just do these trades on repeat. Now I would just shove and get out though. I'm a little scared of Lee. He has nothing else to do but gank you. Oh, okay. Okay, we should have this. Passive available. It's fine. I like the flash choice. Probably could have gotten away with Q, but I still don't care.
Yeah, it's a bit flippy.
Yeah. If Lee shows up, do we die? Probably. But he's bottom. He's bottom. He's bottom.
Yeah, he's bottom. And I think there's a world where we win against him.
No.
We go for this play, fight and reset.
Yep, and then leave now. That's good. You could just press B there. There's no minions.
Yeah. Make the safe route. I guess we are the mid laner this game.
Yeah, so... Do we need a Zonias? I don't think we do.
I like this.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Go back to lane. Herald is soon up, I guess. But I don't think it's a big priority to get Herald here now, other than opening mid. Would be nice. Oh, hello there. Well, then I can walk up there, I guess. I mean, I'm strong, but...
we need to wait for Lee to rotate off.
Yeah.
We have to wait.
Yeah, he could be up low. Possibility. I don't think he's lane ganking me.
I would just wait. Your team's winning bot. Just relax.
Yeah.
We're at the elo where we just need to be respectful until we know. So that we don't fuck the game up somehow. Your comp is so good into theirs, but I still wouldn't want to find out how we can throw, you know?
I see.
I still wouldn't want to learn what the throw condition is. What's the throw condition? If we die top, does Lee like 1v9 all of a sudden? Does he just turn into fucking Canyon and just start going in? Yeah.
Do we just push now, I guess?
I think so. I think it's fine. Greg is so far off the wave. Walk it in. You're good. There's a lot of action bottom.
We could take it ult and rotate. If
there's no rotation. Just hold off until we know what our rotation's gonna do. That way you don't waste the ult cooldown. We could dive him. Yeah. So let's push. Okay. I love this fight right now. Okay, good job. Good job waiting out the queue. Yeah. Yeah, and now we just put it away.
Oh fuck, this might be bad.
Oh, it's bad. Oh no, good ult by Zinzo. Nice. You guys can keep running it. You can keep running it. Oh no, you can't. No, you can't. Okay, so we got Everfrost coming. Yeah, just leave. Good choice. Good choice. You can leave. Sweet.
Bye bye, Shin. Nice knowing you.
So we just reset this. They're gonna push up.
I do think Gragas flashed there. I don't remember.
We'll keep our TP since they didn't actually shove.
Yeah. Let's get the cooldown reduction now. Then rotate up. I did like this as second item. Could go Cosmic Drive, I guess, but... look here. Looky.
Now you're gonna push up all the way. Oh, Gragas TP. I don't like a TP. I know you're thinking it, but I think it's bad.
Yeah, and I should have... If I was gonna TP, I should have done it immediately now.
Yeah. A delayed one isn't much value. But the TP is useless because you're gonna push this to top, and then we're going to rotate down towards Drake.
To Vayne. To Drake and Vayne now.
One more shove.
The normal one.
That ward is looking juicier and juicier. That pink at their bot side.
Yeah, should I
That
go?
go
for
go
it?
go 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 go. That's they're so ridiculously low. We have to go. Figure out where he's going. He's coming to you. Oh, they're so dumb.
No, I shocked. Ah,
Nice.
it's fine.
It's
He
fine.
choked as well. He ate the barrel instead of just attacking. Do we help him with Drake here, or
Yeah, let's go to
do
drag.
we-
Let's go to drag. Get it done. We can reset. Do you have any openings today? No, I don't. I'm full as usual. I have a private coaching
we
at
could go
8:30
Megas here,
actually.
I guess, but
That's it.
It has the curse now. No?
No. Is this necessary? I don't think it is. Let's just go towards the Zonias or the Cosmic.
I like the Sonya spy. Don't need blue ward, right? No.
I think it's... Well, hold on a second. Hold tab. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary to go for this item.
Yeah. We do
You're
have it
so
now,
far ahead.
so-
You're so far ahead, and like, I don't think you need the damage. Your team has damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like the kind of game where you need to mage eyes swag.
It's just a flex at that point.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how you should view it. It's purely just a... It's a I'm showing off and being gold inefficient if I die. Like, that's all that's happening. Whereas like if there was a game where your team is like doing kind of shitty and you're popping off, you're like, if I don't really pop off, like this game might just be a loss anyways. That's kind of how I factor it in.
Do we need a ward here, or
I'd back up until I know more. Yeah, I'd back up until I know more. Yeah.
yeah?
So it's
They
a good
were there.
question. It's a good question. But what you should be thinking in those spots is like, just hover until you know. Like hover just
see.
in the lane until you know.
Yeah. Who knows if Youngler's there or but this is a bit fucked. No.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Shinja is aggressive here. Gets exhausted.
They're gonna Baron off of this shit.
Well,
Oh, that's
you
why I
want
told
to
you to
know
not
how
go.
yeah. You want to know how we could throw, right? This is how. Do we just
You
go
spam
bot
me,
lane
spam me,
here?
spam me, spam me. Get there. I think it
Okay, we're
floats.
gonna go.
I think it floats.
Yeah.
Gragas isn't there. He's very cocky for not being there.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's 2 vs 5.
We're just gonna stop their backs probably. Gonna throw a barrel on his head.
Ah, too far away. No.
I haven't based yet. Okay. That's fine.
He
Just
ulted
fucking with him is
right.
cool. All right, let's push top out.
Yeah.
I'd just keep cruising. Gragas is bottom. I don't think you get ganked here.
Well, he's going top at this.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. Okay, he just jumped to Golem, so just back up. Back up, back up, back up.
Yeah. Could
That could
take that, I
mean-
guess. We don't want to be next to range here. Too dangerous.
Now I
We
would
could-
be. Now I would be, yeah. Could be Vayne and Lee, but I doubt it. Okay, it's just Lee. Cool, just kind of hover here.
Reviving.
Alright, Bard rotation's fast, so I'd back up now. Oh, never mind. You're good. You're good. We have a TP option to bot, maybe. No, never mind.
At least the close.
To Summoner's
Yeah, just kite back and just wait out Baron.
Rift. 30
Big
seconds until
now,
minions
good.
spawn.
Baron's already halfway done. Oh, this guy's mad. Nice.
He's in BD from a bad bomb. But this tower falls probably if they are gonna
I don't think they're
contest
gonna do it. I don't think they're gonna do it. They're gonna go to drag. You can look for TP. You can look TP behind them, behind them, behind them. Yeah. TP's good here. Very good here. You got an ult, Bard ult maybe? Too deep if we go. I think. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Kite back. Nice, that's fine. Good attempt. A little quicker on the TP, you might be able to pull something.
Yeah.
Because you knew there was two top, right?
Do you wanna ignore mid?
Yeah, I would. Okay. We just don't have the deeps here. You gotta eat away from this. Press B right now. Oh.
Well, the time has come. Maybe they are stupid. I don't like doubting, thinking about that, but...
As soon as you got out and they let you go, you needed to back on the ward. Alright, let's buy. Our damage is so piddly now. I thought we had enough. Akshan.
Yeah.
But it's just not coming through.
Maybe we want to go bot here.
Yeah, we could go try to dual rise. Use that plant. You're skipping plants.
Yeah, we're skipping
Oh
those.
god. So slow.
Slow, yeah, I agree. Split. Nice, yeah. Problem. Gotta work on that. I'm gonna stay here.
I'd push up. I'd push up. Careful. Use the bush until he actually leaves. Because that guy's rotation is like god tier.
Bot roamer. Okay, now we know. See, do I have a rotation here?
Just keep cruising. Yeah, keep cruising. Maybe we find a pick.
They attempted. They found something.
Push this all the way up and flank. Hurry up. You know where Lee. You know that Lee can't just one-shot us. Okay, can't run a mid. It's shitty. It's really shitty.
Continue.
Yeah. Kite back. And step up.
continue,
Yeah.
or is
Step
it
up. Step up. Step up. I want the 500 gold. If we're all the way up here, we're getting the gold. Push this under, and we'll defend. Alright, get back. You need to back in an actual hiding spot, though.
Yeah. It's back here.
Camera. Wow, TP is looking.
But
They
yeah,
want you to, but it's a little late. We missed the boat. Alright, let's get out to the top.
items.
When's the Baron up?
40.
We're fighting this guy from farm, but
It's one of those. We fighting here.
keep pushing. One more shove.
One more shove.
One more shove for. I mean, I really want our item, but we're not going to be able to get it in time. Your farm was miserable.
Enemy has been slain. Double kill.
You TP in mid here.
TP in mid is strange. Alright, you need to really no, keep pushing. You need to really Hawkeye the TP though as you move. Look at this TP. Look at the TP. Look at the TP. Think about it.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Flank it then. No. Stay here. Just flank it. Flank this shit. Get us out of here.
I don't have his ult. Wait.
Take the Leo first. Yeah, so you take the Leo first.
I pressed on D, but I couldn't fucking take it. I did.
But you see, flanking there is the move for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why Lee's holding you over and over, but that's fine. You just flank from there.
Yeah.
If you had taken the Lee ult before making that flash, that would have been exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Everything up until like even the Zonias is good. Like if you did all that and then Zonias, you just hard win.
Yeah, I tried to press R on him, but it didn't work. I don't know. Either my R button fucking broke there, something, I don't know. Worked fine on taking Vayne.
Now you assist ping drag and start moving. Nothing else to do. I actually like that. I like that play a lot. What up, Richard, bro? Thanks for being here, man.
Me on moving to enemies, right? Yeah. No. It's also passive.
You still have the ult, so we should shove out bot, I guess.
Actually, that's the same idea, I think.
We're fighting this guy. Put a ward in the pit, dude. You got this ward, or put a ward somewhere. Yeah. All right, let's go and force maybe. Or split. Gragas has no TP. Nice, dude. Nice, dude. Nice, dude.
They have her. Perfect. Here we go.
I'm okay with it. We got in and got out. It looked smooth.
Yeah. Vayne was kind of okay there, honestly.
Yeah, I did. It played better than I thought it would. Yeah. It was a good little shimmy.
I'm Vayne now.
Let's push bot. Push bot. Push bot. Push bot.
Yeah.
Don't group mid. Just keep getting.
Don't ARAM.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. And then also I would prefer to just do this and then flank in mid. It's more powerful because you're just gonna take Gragas ult and shoot him out the front. Get it under all the way. Hurry up. This is a good timing to. We can take Gromp actually because they're going all the way to top. So take Gromp.
They have ward.
Yeah, that's fine. They can have it all they want.
An ally has been slain.
Go.
Go top lane or just reset here?
I just reset. There's no play.
Monsters can be made.
We don't have any item. I could sell this.
Just sell the seal. Sell the seal. It's fine. LS might be mad at us, but
Might blame us, yeah. We got
but
top here.
I think monetarily speaking, I think it's okay. It feels like we get a little bit more value out of that than even 8 dark seal stacks that we can't convert.
You want me here? Nah.
I mean, you have TP, so you just Hawkeye it as you move. Pay really close attention, though. Yeah. Watch closely. When you see that Q hit, you need to watch. And keep
There's
moving.
no wards though.
Ping it. Ping that you want them. Ping that you have TP and you want them. You don't type. You just ping their wards. Now look at mid. Yeah, TP to a minion. TP to a minion. You know it's. Oh my God! What are you doing? Jesus! Every fucking time I lead Q hits, you need to look, bro. That's just how it is. You don't look away when that's happening. Nice.
We're doing a bit stalling here. And, wait. Bye. Oh. This is endable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This looks
The strongest.
I think it may not be endable. Depends on how fast this comp is at taking. I don't know. We're pretty fast.
I'm silenced. I can take this fast. If I have more shit to hit. Fuck it, we're going for it, I think.
Yeah,
What
this
the
is
fuck am I
GG.
saying?
This is GG.
I don't care, I'm taking it. We hitting these.
Take Vayne ult. Take Vayne ult. Wiggle. There you go. Nice.
Went better, at least. No.
Well, you know, this is one of those situations where, to summarize, Gragas kind of killed his game by picking a really. I never really give too much credit to like counter picks,
Yeah.
like in solo. But I think Silas has one of the highest. If you pick wrong into Silas, I think it hurts the most of any champ.
Yeah. It's kind of a free game.
Yeah, because what winds up. So the reason it works so well is because Your W, he can never actually kill you if you manage your cooldowns right. And you get this like scaling bruiser utility with like tank stats. It's just, it just becomes this like unkillable carry guy who no one can really shut down even in lane. So I think that's the biggest like difference between, you know, playing Silas into most of the champ pool. Like if you bumped into a Darius or a Nectin, it would have been way sadder. Here he kind of counterpicked himself. Now your gameplay in particular, there's a couple things that I don't like. I don't like that when you have these like pivotal moments in game, you're not identifying that it's like super important to look. Like,
with the TP, for example.
Yeah, go ahead and load up that game and like look at that last TP, for example. If you look right here, watch the Lee and you're not looking. So like you weren't looking here until I yelled at you too. And then he's about to do it again. Either it was him or Gragas, but just slow this down to like half speed. Now watch right here. So you move your camera in a moment. And he hits this Q. He hits this Q. Now pause it. So he hits that Q in front of this fucking Gragas. My eyes are like, I would want you glued to that, watching it and thinking about whether or not a TP makes sense. All you have to do if you move to top is A and left click the wave and just let Silas do his thing until you're faster at like juggling between the two. But you know, I coach all skill levels, and one of the things I tell people is that like, you know, you're not everybody's faker, not everybody has super camera. So what you need to do is you need to allocate mental resources into just that. So just A left click top, you're getting the XP top anyways, so it doesn't matter. You could just stare at this, and like even if you miss some CS, missing CS is less damaging. Yeah. If you're 2, 3, 4 seconds late on a TP, you could ruin this whole game. So that was basically my main concern with that, was that like you were in a really good spot here and you almost single-handedly threw, because if they get an engage on your team and you show up late and they pick apart your team before you get there, that's game. But as long as you were watching, as soon as Lee takes that Q, I would have immediately, like as soon as he lands on work, because he could theoretically fake it, and like that's what the good ones do, is they like Q to get you to TP. That's kind of funny. Lee Sin's really bullshit champ and like higher elos and like higher levels, because he could legit just be like, you know what, I'm gonna Q at this Morgana and then I'm gonna jump back and it's gonna look like I'm forcing, and then you TP and then he laughs at you and sits in base. Oh yes, chat reminds me about the dive. Go to the dive at the beginning, level 4.
The funny dive. This is the...
Just watch the wave crash in.
Oh yeah, we are at the right time here.
So slow this down and then pause. Basically what you do wrong here is you're worried about him leveling up, but I don't care if he levels up at all. I just want him to waste mana and auto us while he's low. So watch what you do. You just kind of force it, but you don't even have to touch him. Just wiggle at him. Let him. You have all the time. Press pause again. Look at that cannon minion. You had all the time in the world to just sit there.
Yeah, because the minions will attack him if he attacks
just
me,
wiggle
right?
at him. Just wiggle, fake auto attack. I love fake auto attacking. That's like my favorite move. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that sucks.
So let me share my screen real quick. I'm gonna go into my practice tool real quick. Really what it boils down to is I want you to lead this, and anytime you see a tank matchup like that, I want you to just fucking destroy it harder than that. And the one way that you can do that is just by draining this guy's mana out. So technically it would look like this. So you've got this guy here and you literally just auto and fake it. you see what I mean? You there? Oh, did he leave? Oh, he must be lagging. I think he DC'd, to be honest. It's perfectly timed DC though. Because it was the end of the session anyways. But this is what I was trying to show them, guys, is that like when the minions go under.
Oh, hello?
Are you there? Okay, good.
My disc fucking disconnected somehow. Alright, I see the lane state here.
You see this? So like all you do is just wiggle at him like this and literally just go like that.
Yeah. by canceling datas, yeah.
So you just make him think that you're about to do something, and then he's gonna throw his abilities at you, and then you look like a genius.
An enemy has been slain.
And then all the minions target him, and then you would just, you know, in the case of Silas, you would just like, you know, do one of those bullshit things where it's just like a quick combo and then out or whatever.
Yeah. Leave it.
So just a thought. Overall, I didn't hate the gameplay today. From a strategy, it's from like just like how you view the game. You're trying to get away with playing these like low carry fucking like low agency champs. I even like Silas as a pick more because at least when you play Silas, you can guarantee me it's almost like a Cassidon. You can guarantee me that you're going to get something out of playing him. Corky, you will get package, but package is a lot less playable than Silas ults in most cases. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is just like watching you play is just your farm is terrible. Silas, I can kind of understand.
Yeah, Silas is fucking horrific to farm. Like,
I played it myself, so I know. It's really hard. Corky, yes.
I had like I don't know if the farm for I had like 2 carpet skins, but they were normals. I don't know if we count them, but no, we don't count normal skins, right? Here.
Yeah. So I don't think you're a bad player. I think here you've got to start setting goals with your champion pool. I think the big thing is farm needs to be cleaned up. A better strategy in terms of what we're hoping to get out of solo queue. Because right now you're just trying to play Corky and coin flip, but that's shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just not a good use of your time. I would rather you, if you're gonna play mid, I'd rather you pull stuff out like Rumble. That'll actually teach you something about like priority and moving around the map. Yeah. But other than that, like that's all I got for you on this session. Keep me posted on how your climb's going and show me something different than Corky and actually discipline yourself and your fucking champ pool if you get another coach in.
I have a list of a very small list, by the way. So
Good.
I used to have a list for like I was like, no fuck, no, I'm not gonna learn this hate.
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
I think the win rate might be slightly better with Dark Harvest, if I'm not mistaken, but it's lower sample size, which means you should probably play it into squishy comps only. This comp, for example, would not be the time. Bard, Zin, and Ornn, and then Akshan always go shield bow, so not a huge fan. I'd rather you be able to move. I think it scales reasonably too. I think people sleep on the scaling. That little burst of move speed like makes or breaks games a lot of the time.
So I see a ton of people right now going boots and pots. Would you do that or just go door and shield?
So hold tab and think about their comp here. Do you think they have enough poke to warrant going boots? I would say no. However, if you're facing Xerath and Caitlyn or something, then you know what to do. Now, with a Mumu, it's up to you if you want to leash him. It's your call. I almost always try to level 1 cheese from like brushes. Hey, listen, you. Listen like in lane though.
Listen.
Yeah, you're consuming this content for free. You're being a peeping Timo. I'm gonna need you to sub to the channel right now. Right now. You're consuming this content for free. You're hiding in the bushes, in the toilet bowls, and you're not supporting the content. Also, if you really like Nice, but you don't like him when he's angry and yelling at people, you can also go over to Chill Nice. You can go, there's a link in the description below. You could subscribe to Chill Nice, and then you'll really get some good Nice content. Right, see you later. Same thing as before. I want the push and I want damage. What does Jin sound like, Prince?
So many guns.
Nice try.
I was
Good. No, that's all good. That was at least movement without me having to coach you through it. That's a jungle gank, right?
Yeah.
It's a jungle gank. I mean, you traded Flash, but I don't like that you even walked up at all because
Yeah.
you knew. This is like a
Just-
similar situation to last time. You knew what it meant. You knew. You absolutely knew what that meant. Why limit test it? We're playing. You got to think. We're essentially playing a card game here. If they got more cards, they win. You know. So it's not worth testing it unless your jungler was in the weeds or something. But you did get Zin's Flash, so I guess that's something. At least it wasn't for free.
So
Don't
would you try
shove,
to
don't
shove here?
shove, don't shove. I knew you were gonna ask, and the idea is, if you shove, you just give them everything. You're not gonna be able to shove fast enough.
Okay.
Just build a huge wave and then crash it.
Yeah, because kind of, as I guess a rule of thumb is I've always, before I try to back, just shove the lane. Even, and I know that I can't shove it quick enough, but I still attempt to.
Yeah, so here you'd be better off playing it slow and then shoving in. This way you're protected when you go for the shove.
Okay, so you just kind of let your wave build up a little bit, and then...
Yeah, on the next one. So now you walk up and hard shove, and you commit to it, and you assist ping it. Use your biscuits and assist. Yep. Yep. Now you have the wave defending you. Keep pushing. You keep backing out of it, and it sucks. You need to get it under quick Q. Hurry up. He's gonna gank you soon. The fucking Zin's out. Leave. Now run home. It's a gank coming, and you keep walking up. Same lesson as before.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, no, it's not. It's not. Thankfully, Zen was top. Let's press B. Either way, though, I want to get the shove and leave. It's an exit trade. What if there was a gank there? I mean...
Yeah. In that situation, I did see the Moo coming, so that was kind of my
Grab
reasoning
long
for
swords and boots. Let's go. But you see, I don't really care too much about it because I just want to get us out while we have the wave under so that we can get back with some items and actually do something.
Okay.
So escorting that huge wave is kind of it's called an exit trade. If they fight you, you're still gonna base and you'll be really low, but they'll take some damage and you just kite out. Now you come back, you guys are gonna come back, and now you're gonna try to slow their push down. So right here, you just try to slow it down and just kind of park it in front of our tower is ideal. So see how she's moving forward to you, but she doesn't have a big wave.
Yeah.
But when she gets close to us, we're going to slow it down and park it on our side so that we don't die to the gank because it's a bard. So don't push forward. Just try to slow it to right where that sign is behind you. If you can get the wave there, you're protected from all the bullshit ganks that could come. And then if Brand does hit something like that, you can follow it up, see? But the thing is if you guys are pushing in, you're not going to get those options. So let's back this up. See, we're at the sign now. We're happy, and that's kind of where we want to be. We would like to be tucked in a little bit further, but this is a good start.
So, what are your thoughts
I'd get rid of
on-
cannon here. Same rules before.
Okay.
So we
that's
can
just
manage.
Oh, mother.
It's okay. I know I'm distracting you while you're trying to play, but
No, you're good.
but it's just the idea that you want to be able to manage the wave. Now you can manage it quick because it's gonna crash. There you go. Yep. See how you kept it? See, good job. Now you've got this position. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
mistake.
probably-
Now you can so you can target ping Jinx. And then just forward and back like that and keep her off of the farm. There. Force Bard to come back.
So I can push the wave.
No, I just meant take your time. Like, Try to push Jinx around and kill her so that Bard has to come back. Yep, so push to build a huge wave and then we'll...
Zen's here.
Yeah, that's why we build the big waves so that we can actually stand our ground if we need to. All right. There's his. Nice. This is huge. This is so huge. And then you back up in R. Yeah. Nice fun. Sick. Nice. Sick, 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 sick. Good job. That's why you build the waves.
So shove and
Yeah.
reset here.
Shove and try to find this W. You know he's in front of you. Walk forward. Find it. Good try. I would try to take a plate, I think. It'd be a little greedy, but I think it's okay. 1. And I'd go 2. And leave. That's good. Leave, 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 leave. See?
Okay.
Yeah. It's gotta, everything's gotta be smooth, my friend. Yep. That's a good buy. Nice. Yes. Look at that charred body. The remains of Fallout right there.
Bard's top side.
An enemy
So with
has
Bard
been
being
slain.
top side here in the jungle top, would I try to shove this or just...
So the thing is their mid was there. So I mean, yeah, I think the mid goes back. You need to clear this wave, this cannon though. Remember, you keep
Yeah.
leaving the cannon up. It's impossible to manage the wave when you do that. See, every time the cannon stays, you can't do anything. Because if you try to fight her, you're just gonna get melted.
An enemy has been slain.
I think Jinx resets here. I'd shove. Attacks are a small wave for leaving. Alright, let's go ward. No, 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 you're not hitting tower. Help ward. Could mean Jin's coming. You got a Mumu behind you though. Walk up, walk up. You got a Mumu behind you. You got Jinx pushed in. Get this guy to use abilities at least. Okay, still plays. It still plays. He's stuck. He's stuck. There's the flash. Very close up top. Shove, 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 shove. You've got Brand down here and a Mumu down here. Use that as an opportunity to build something out. There's 2 top. We want to get Dragon. Let's rotate. Yeah, rotate.
Okay.
Remember, action was top and low. Assist ping this. We can move up. He has no flash. Ping it. Nice. Shove. We're gonna lose the wave bot, but we're gonna get this tower. Bard has no flash. The Mumu has ult. Let's go to drag. Let's go to drag. No need, no need, no need, no need, no need. Get out of there. Get out of there. You need to do this while you have the window to do it. Because here in a second, put the ward behind you. Because you can't linger. And then you've got to cross right down to bottom. Or I guess to mid, because... Oh, never mind. Alright, shove quickly. Let's just ping the shove. Alright, press B. That's good enough. Press B. Jinx is back in tower. You have item. You just won mid tower, got dragon, and shoved. You reset here. You don't push. Shoving there would, or pushing there would be troll. Alright, buy a longsword. Let's go. Did we get a plate or did we miss it? Is it up still? I think it's up. Nope. Damn.
Yeah.
Sucks, but we can't stay. Alright. We've got Gale Force now. Let's keep the wave here for now until we know what's going on. Yeah,
Okay.
these Qs need to stop.
Yeah. I tend to do that just to make sure I get that last hit on the CS, but I guess it's better to just
Give it.
let one go.
Jinx his target. I don't know why you're looking at this guy.
Okay.
You're never killing him. Can't walk up. You can, yeah. Oh, we're getting dove. All right, back up. Get against the wall and back up. Go home. Go home. Flash it. Flash it or Gale Force sooner, but you can't get hit. That's ADC 101. You got to be able to kite that. There's nothing in there that was that hard.
Yeah.
That's okay. It happens. If you stay, you're dead, though. That's pretty obvious.
Would there ever be a situation where it would maybe be better to try to sit under tower and see if I get a
Not
kill
there.
out of it?
Not there.
Okay.
Running back was fine. Because Brand wasn't in position to help you. So you need to get closer to Brand. And then if you would have kited back and didn't get hit. Basically, if you just flashed out, you were fine.
Okay.
Gale, maybe, depending on how you layer it, but... Nice by him. Alright, let's shove. I say go for the shove. You have Bard and Xin Zhao a lot, though, so you're gonna queue this. Hurry, like, this is a shove. Oh, okay, they're all mid, so you're free to take tower. Spam that Q. And Xin Zhao doesn't look like he's coming for you, but he could be, technically. But you're fine. Push one more wave. And then let's get out of here. I would hit the tower a little bit more, though. Just a little bit more. A few more.
Take tower? Or
A few
just-
more. Oh, God. Oh, you're fine. Yeah, just leave. Just leave. Just leave. Don't play around.
Okay.
It's a macro game, my friend. You don't need these little pointless autos that don't accomplish anything. Now let's build and come right back out. Run. Oh, he's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, this whole play is just a disaster of epic proportions.
Jeez.
Yeah, shove quick. Shove quick and get the solo farm. I just auto until turret's guaranteed dead and then bounce. That's probably good there, yeah. And let's press B and we're gonna group.
So is that kind of the main thing for laning, I guess, as AD carry, is as soon as you get tower, you leave and go elsewhere?
Yeah. That's how I like to
find
play.
Okay, because I kind of find myself thinking about doing that, but I end up just going kind of back bot lane once they push in to try to protect tower.
You can grab waves for sure if you're in position. Like right now you could grab the wave here. But as a rule, like if there's a play to make, like I'm gonna go and make that play with the gold that we have.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are warning you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a fair point. We could probably switch it up.
To
Yeah.
So don't even finish the collector, just go for LDR? Or should I finish off the collector and then just...
Yeah, I think that's how I would do it. I think I would just finish collector. Oh, great. I was
think I
okay
need
with,
to
yeah, I
really
was okay with
flash
waiting.
there.
I was okay with waiting a bit. But you're up now. Okay. I don't know, Mumu. I don't know, my friend.
An ally has been slain.
is Zerath doing?
He's struggling.
Yeah, I just walked kind of right by him.
Whatever, at least you traded. Camera, I want to see what's happening. I don't want to look at the grass right now. Okay, cool. You guys got drag. It's a win. A small win, but a win. Yeah, so like at this spot, I would just finish off the collector because you're never killing Ornn anyways, even with Lord Doms. It's just, you know what I mean? But yes, we should probably get to Lord Doms. I say,
Go top, maybe.
yeah, we should rotate up that way. Assist ping Brand and start moving. Try to find a pick in the bush. Try brush. And assist ping him. Put it on his head. He's a lock screen player. That's it. That's why you need to ping on him next time.
Okay.
Help him with that vision. Or that scuttle. You guys have the damage to kill him. Between you two. Wait right there. Okay, let's go push. Oh, brother. Go push. Macro game, not a chasing game. These pointless autos don't mean shit, dude. Let's just ping a Mumu. Let's just ping Zerath. Get them up here. On their heads. There you have Gale. There it is. This is the fight we wanted. You need to walk into that thing and shoot, bro.
Okay, yeah.
You're literally just wasting your autos over and over.
Oh, I had.
Do you understand how we just pinged this fight to happen?
Yeah. We kind of forced it by just spamming them. With things.
Let's push all the way in. And now reset. Good. That's good. We won our fight. Okay, you see that? We forced that. We made that fight happen. Now you can go for your LDR. I just grab the wave and push it out. Oh, hello. Unlucky. I don't. Oh, maybe you kill him. I can't tell. Nah, it's all good. Just try. This is unlucky. I mean, he flashed over the Brand, and the Brand also just like, I don't know where he's stunned, but felt like he didn't stun the whole fight. I didn't see the stun come out, but maybe I'm tripping.
I didn't see a stun.
Right? Like it felt like he just didn't do it. Slow push here. Slow push. Slow push. Look where your team is. Brand's dead. Just relax.
Yeah, I tend to, like, at this point in the game, just kind of auto.
Everybody does. I'm trying to carry though, because basically we're playing Jhin and all of our positioning has to make perfect sense. You need to go for a hard shove and get the fuck out before Akshan kills us. He doesn't have shield bow though, because you just saw him use it. Remember?
Yeah.
All right, let's get out. We'll go mid to LDR, I guess. Shove mid here. Shove mid here. All right, let's rotate to our Mumu. Ping on the way. We're strong. We haven't backed yet for LD or for Last Whisper, but it's okay. We need to be with the Mumu. A Mumu's the play. Yeah, get behind him. There you go. That's how you move. Yep, walk up with him. Yep, that's what you want. See, easy game. Heal that Zerath, bro. What are you doing?
Oh, okay. I just wasn't even paying attention to that.
Open it. Oh, we just push. Yeah, we push here. Push hard too. It's just Jinx right now. And now you reset for armor pen.
Last Whisper.
Let's roll out. Bye, quickly. Get out quickly. Good. Now let's think about whether they can do this without us, this dragon. Hold tab.
Your turret
I
has
say
been
no.
destroyed.
They'll be in position. So we go into mid and we try to shove. Look where Akshan is. You're fine to shove now. Fine to shove mid.
Okay.
Assist ping mid and then rotate. Now just quickly shove and get out so we don't get caught. Now let's go. Careful, you're walking high. There's no need to walk high. We'll walk low. You're gonna leave through a Mumu. You're not gonna leave through Brand. Yep.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Cool. This is a good spot if they want to force. Just kite back, stay behind a Mumu. They cannot beat you if you're with the Mumu. Kite this golem.
Shut down.
Alright, let's take red. Ping on the way. Take it. What's going on down low? You need to move camera. Too much action. I think this is okay. You gotta kite back to Wukong though. That's okay too. That's okay too. Get in there if you're gonna, yeah. Good. Nice. Just get rid of wave and leave. Action. Get out. Hey, you might be, yeah, you might be dead here. No, you're fine. Just leave though. Yeah, I'm never doing that. All right, let's just go ahead and reset. Get your item. You have a tendency to overplay shit like a lot. That's like your biggest problem. You're like lingering around. Like I said, pointless autos. Like, what are those autos even doing? It's not even a reliable fight.
Nothing.
If the fight's not gonna end, why do it? Now we just we can W him maybe. Whatever. Let's try to open an R on Jinx maybe. You're on your own.
Oh.
Yeah, you're on your own. Okay, W. All right, we're going to Baron after we push if we can. Assist ping Baron. I know Mumu's low. Yeah, assist ping it. Put a ward over the back of Baron Pit. Hit that plant. Hit that plant. Take it away from him. Let's just kite back. Kite back. It's all good. Now we're gonna reset and press and get a pickaxe. You could, I mean, I'm not sure which is better here, to be honest. I'm not a Jhin main. It might be rapid fire's better, but I feel like IE is probably better personally. Your front to back's pretty good. I don't think we need to reposition that much if I'm being real with you. You guys seem to have the... You seem to have the initiative on every team fight. Your team. Whatever Mumu and Wukong are doing is working, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Shove this and then rotate. Yeah, shove and rotate. Akshan is top, so you don't have to worry about being caught. Who else can catch you? Ornn, Jinx? Nope. They can't catch you.
with what is supported by evidence and what is not supported, and whatever is not supported does not warrant serious consideration. Come back when you have something to show, and then we'll have something to talk about. But with creationism, we have not only assertions of empty speculation as though they were fact, but we also have a little bit further dishonesty than that, because we have the further assertion that all the major creationist organizations post, that's their statement of faith, wherein they actually promise that they're going to ignore any and all evidence against them. And the bigger issue that I have right now is that Well, you know what? I just lost where I was going with this. All right, I'll just let it go.
Okay. Well, there you go. 1 minute opening statement. And George, you do have your full 10 minutes, though. If you want to address his opening statement or just go right into your presentation, completely up to you. But introduce yourself first and then go into it.
I'll just rebut his opening very quickly. Religion does take reasoned faith, and I do mean reasoned faith. And I agree with him if science proves, and it has to be verifiable, observable science, proves something wrong about faith, it should be really seriously looked at by the faithful. And young earth creationism, I think he won that debate with Ken Hovind, I gotta say. That's why I'm here to debate him from an old earth perspective. And I would like to say atheism also takes reasoned faith, because you have to have faith that God doesn't exist. And if that's all my rebuttal will be, and I'll go into my opening statement.
That's fine. Yeah, why don't you just go right into your
greetings. All right. Greetings. My name is George Lujak. I'm an independent Messianic minister and founder of Scripture Truth Ministries, a ministry dedicated to shattering mainstream Christian and Judaism's deceptions, revealing end times prophecies, and preparing a straight path on a narrow road for the end time saints. I'm a published author of Mysteries of the Scriptures Revealed. My website is scripturetruthministries.com, and you can find Scripture Truth Ministries on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and MeWe. I'm also the managing editor for cowgirnation.com and write conservative political and religious content articles there. And I'm also with News of Views. I worked as a New York City police officer for over 20 years, overseas a United Nations international police officer in the former Yugoslav republics of Croatia, Serbia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've traveled to over 20 foreign countries, including Israel. I reside in Apollo Beach, Florida. Old Earth creationism, rightly explained, matches correctly with scripture and verifiable science. In the beginning, billions of years ago, God created the heavens, that is, the universe, and the earth. God created the universe and the earth in one day, not 6 days. Genesis 2 verse 4 declares that the earth experienced a significant history or generations of time, for those who prefer the King James Bible, in the day, not 6 days, that the Lord God created the earth and universe. Again, that's Genesis 2 verse 4 through 5. And verse 5 states that the earth experienced an ancient history before there was any plant in the field in the earth, and before any herb of the field had grown. This one creation day was not measured from sundown to sundown, so it was a day to God, a 1,000-year period. A day to God is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day, according to 2 Peter 3 verse 8. So it took God approximately 1,000 years to create the universe and the unformed earth. Young earth creationists proclaim the earth and universe only experienced 2 24-hour days before God made the plants on day 3. Young earth creationism is false doctrine. All one has to do is properly decipher scripture with a precept upon precept understanding and with proper grammatical comprehension, and this false doctrine falls apart. It has been a sad spectacle for me to witness many seemingly intelligent men, such as Ken Hovind, Ken Ham, Jason Lyle, and others, upholding the doctrine of young earth creationism, which is so blatantly shown to be false by using scripture alone, and doubly so when using verifiable science, such as distant starlight and ancient meteors that have impacted upon the earth during its ancient past. Young earth creationism is junk faith, and the so-called science that young earth creationists use to uphold it is made up fake science. But doesn't the Bible say in Exodus 20 verse 11 and 31 verse 17, in 6 days God created the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is in it? Yes, it does. But heaven, when used here, does not mean the universe. Young earth creationists, please refer to Genesis 1 verse 8, which states, and God called the firmament heaven. The firmament is Earth's atmosphere, Earth's sky. With Genesis 1 verse 8 in mind, here's how Exodus 20 verse 11 and 31 verse 17 should be understood. In 6 days, God created the heaven, Earth's sky, the earth, Earth's land, and the sea, and all life that is within them. Young earth creationists twist Genesis 1 verse 1, which declares, in the beginning, God created the heavens, which would include the stars and planets. They proclaim that God created heaven, which was empty space on day 1, as if emptiness, nothingness, a vacuum, or a void is a creation, and on day 4 created the stars. Genesis 1 verse 16 says God created the stars also, which is an affirmative declaration that he had made the stars also in the beginning, not on day 4, in addition to illuminating the sun on day 4 of Earth's Reformation Week. Listening to young Earth creationists refute verifiable science is cringingly painful, particularly refuting distant starlight, showing the universe to be billions of years old, and ancient meteor impacts upon the Earth that did not occur within the last 6,000 years. God made the Earth in the beginning, billions of years ago, and afterward formed it about 6,000 years ago. There are two distinct creation acts. These are two distinct creation acts, making the Earth and forming the Earth. God made the Earth in the beginning without form to sustain life and void of life, and the Earth remained without form and void of life for billions of years. Then he returned to Earth about 6,000 years ago and formed the Earth and created all life upon it in those 6 days. This is confirmed in Scripture, Isaiah 45, verse 18. Young Earth creationists are absolutely wrong about the age of the Earth and universe, but they are correct in declaring that life began upon the Earth, including the dinosaurs, about 6,000 years ago. According to Darwinian evolution, life on Earth must have started as a single-celled organism, then continually mutated and evolved into all life forms, all the sea creatures, land animals, and birds. Young Earth creationists will not stop proclaiming young Earth and universe to thwart evolution in its tracks, because evolution theory theoretically needs time, but the ends never justify the means. There are many people who were once believers who became atheists in light of the scientific evidence for an old Earth and universe, and they believe the Bible is a fairy tale that declares the Earth and universe were created 6,000 years ago because of young Earth creationist teachings. Young Earth creationist teachers are doing more harm to the spreading of the gospel than good. Young Earth creationism teachings cause some people to lose faith and become atheists. Atheism does not have the answers, although they professing to be wise, Romans 1 verse 22, claim that they do. Atheistic secular Darwinian evolution starts with the premise and the assumption that there is no God, and thus violates the scientific method by eliminating a viable means for creation. This is what all their science revolves around, the assumption that there is no God. They then theorize how the universe and life upon Earth came to be. Thus, they replace God the Creator with nature the Creator, believing that nature, through spontaneous creation of matter, created the heavens and the earth, and that, over time, the elements rose and assembled themselves into self-sustaining, self-replicating life forms. This godless creation theory they try to pass off as science, but in reality, it's science fiction. Darwinian evolution goes against the known laws of science, namely the first and second laws of thermodynamics. Atheists often claim that the universe is not a closed system, so spontaneous creation could have occurred through the Big Bang, or that matter always existed and was compressed together densely in a singularity before the Big Bang explosion. Science has never witnessed spontaneous creation occur. To believe that even a grain of sand can be produced through spontaneous creation takes a leap of faith, but to believe that all the matter in the entire universe was produced through spontaneous creation takes an astounding leap of faith and logic. Spontaneous creation violates the first law of thermodynamics. To believe that there is a process by which abiogenesis can occur, which would be a requirement if God does not exist, also takes great leaps of faith and logic to believe. Science has not been able to demonstrate or observe life forming from non-life. Mixing chemical elements together and producing something like proteins is not creating life. This is merely evidence of a chemical reaction. Abiogenesis, which Darwinian evolutions do not like to talk about, violates the second law of thermodynamics. What atheistic Darwinian evolutions do not like to speak about is evidence of microevolution and exaggerated into macroevolution to make kinds change into other kinds of creatures over long periods of time. Again, this is in the realm of science fiction and not in the realm of verifiable, testable, observable science. We see microevolution, which is slight variations in animal kinds over short periods of times, and we do not see, even in a fossil record, big changes, one kind of animal becoming another kind of animal. In popular science fiction movies such as X-Men and Waterworld, we see spontaneous beneficial mutation. In the X-Men movies, mutants are born with beneficial mutations, but in the real world, this never has been observed to occur. In the movie Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner, the world is submerged underwater, and his character is a mutant human being with gill slits behind his ears who is able to breathe underwater. Again, we do not see this in the real world. Whales and dolphins have spent generation after generation in water, and they have not developed gills and could drown if they got caught in a net or had some other unfortunate underwater accident. While nature must follow the laws of nature, our supernatural God can break them. We have recorded evidence of God through the man Yeshua Messiah Jesus Christ, who walked among us, and he violated the first law of thermodynamics. When there were only 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish, he spontaneously created more of them to have enough fish and bread to feed 5,000 people. Yeshua Jesus violated the second law of thermodynamics when he miraculously healed lepers, the blind, and raised people from the dead, and raised himself from the grave. I know full well to believe in Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ, does take faith, but there... What?
Oh,
I got another paragraph.
that was
here.
our timer, by the way. Do you, if you,
Wow.
if you quickly want to wrap that up? Because you did take a minute to do your introduction, which is fine. I mean,
About 30 more seconds.
Yeah, Arn, do you mind?
I know full...
Go for it.
I know full well to believe in Yeshua Jesus does take faith, but there is evidence for him, and he testified of his creation of all things, which was in the beginning. Atheists who reject God have no verifiable, testable, or observable evidence other than the 9 scientific theories that they present, which violate known science, the first and second law of thermodynamics. As for young earth creationism, it needs to be placed in the history dustbin of false doctrine, right alongside flat earth belief. Thank you.
All right, thank you, George. There we go. Arn, all yours.
All right. The summary is that his entire opening argument was already rebutted in my video on the 6th foundational falsehood of creationism. George, I'm very sorry to say that you have been grossly misinformed on absolutely everything you've just said, and this is going to be very embarrassing once you watch the video, or any video that I've made for that matter, because everything you've just said is, how do I put this? It's like walking into a pediatric clinic and arguing why they don't teach the stork. Kind of along those lines. First of all, I want to talk to you about spontaneous generation, because you said spontaneous creation, which I thought you were denigrating the other creationists, but I don't think you were. I think what you were doing was the common misconception where you have blended spontaneous generation with abiogenesis, which are 2 completely different concepts. Spontaneous generation is a supernatural belief that all life forms have a latent vital force, or vitalism specifies that everything that was once alive has a living energy to it, and that when a body dies and therefore rots, regardless what it is, whether it's a vegetable's poop or any kind of a corpse at all, then along with the bad smell comes a degenerate form of life, and this degenerate form of life ebbs out of the dying carcass, or the rotting fruit, or the poop or whatever, in the form of magically enchanted appearance of mold or bacteria, or sometimes even flies and mice. That's what spontaneous generation is. And Louis Pasteur, who also accepted evolution, by the way, disproved spontaneous generation, and thus disproved the idea of vitalism. Abiogenesis is an entirely different concept. You said that atheists don't like to talk about this, but of course we do. And I have put up a video on this. It has quite a few views, where I explain abiogenesis to middle school classes. And the abiogenesis is the current hypothesis replacing spontaneous generation as an explanation for the origin of life. It was proposed by Rudolf Virchow in 1855, coined by Thomas Huxley in 1870. And it is the proposition that the formation of life requires a prior matrix. Thus, genetic and metabolic cells must have developed through an intricate sequence of increasingly complex chemical constructs, each having been naturally enhanced by particular constituent and environmental conditions. And now there's more. The rest of the problem is not just your misinformation on science, but also your misdefinitions of quite a lot. There's no such thing as reasoned faith. Faith is a belief that is not based on evidence. There's no way to reason that. I mean, if evidence is the only reason to believe, then there's no such thing as reasoned faith. If you have no faith at all, that means you don't believe impossible nonsense for no good reason, which means if you have no faith at all, you will ultimately be atheist. Because there is no faith required. We don't have to believe that there's no God. We don't have to assume that there is no God. Science doesn't require any presupposition that there is no God, but methodological naturalism is a necessary component. Because you can't just say that things are magic and accept that as an answer. We have to have methodological naturalism. Every postulation that is promoted has to be supported by, already has to have supportive evidence. You can't assert anything. You can't make, if you don't have evidence to support it, then it's just speculation. And as I said before, an unsupported assertion has no more credence than a claim that it has been proven wrong. So if you don't have evidence to back it up, you may as well be wrong. Okay, you have to have evidence before we even have anything to consider. And your assertion that God created and all like that, empty speculation. It is absolutely meaningless. The only value information has is however accurate you can show it to be. And if you can't show that it is accurate at all, then it has no value at all. Now for the rest of it, you have some colorful interpretations of the fairy tale that you believe in. And yes, Genesis is a fairy tale by definition because it has all the elements of a fairy tale. It has witches and wizards and giants and dragons and magic spells, and like the golem spell and the incantation spell. It was the charm of creation. And then you have animals that talk and act like human beings. You know, all of these are elements in a story with a moral, and that's the definition of a fairy tale. That applies to the Bible, but does not apply to any aspect of evolution. You said evolution was non-scientific because you mistook the laws of thermodynamics. Now, yes, your belief does violate the laws of thermodynamics and several other laws of physics, understood, but evolution does not. As a matter of fact, Lord Kelvin, who first conceived of the laws of thermodynamics, said himself, and he was not a creationist, he believed in intelligent design, and he even called it intelligent design. But when faced with Darwin's theory, when he was first asked to comment on that, he wrote that all he would say about it was that it is not unscientific. Now, this is the man who conceived of the laws of thermodynamics, and he had no objection to Darwin's explanation of evolution. Though he didn't accept it, he had no criticism of it, and he understood it better than you do. I'm sorry to say you don't understand it at all, but I'd be happy to help you with that.
All right, George, you got 5 more minutes, and then to address that.
That was a lot in 5 minutes.
Good luck in 5 minutes, but you definitely have full 5 minutes to kind of address that, and then I think afterwards, are they going to back and forth? Is that what they decided?
Yeah. Well, no, there's 3 rounds of this, so this is the yeah.
Why do we have to go 3 rounds?
Yeah, it seems an awful lot too. I mean,
that's just what we agreed to. I mean, if you guys want to change that,
because there's no need. Everything he just said, had he watched the 6th foundational falsehood of creationism before he said anything, he wouldn't have said anything that he said, because everything he just said in his opening argument was already rebutted in that video.
Well, let's at least get through.
Yeah, let's get one round. Maybe we'll see. George, why don't you take 5 minutes to fresh your head?
Everybody.
All right, I don't think I'll be needing your advice on evolution, but maybe you'll take some of mine. I doubt it. Atheists don't want to believe in God. That's one of the foundational things with atheism. Whether they even are presented with evidence, they still don't want to accept the evidence, and there is evidence of God. What you call methodological naturalism, I call supernatural naturalism. You believe that nature could do what the supernatural God can do, and that's never been shown or observed to occur. I'm sorry, that's made up science, and that's science fiction. We don't see the Big Bang. We don't see molecules arranging themselves into life forms. You can come up with all these fancy terms that you like, but that just doesn't happen. And as for witches in the Bible, people claim to be witches even today. You can go out and find witches today. That doesn't mean they actually will get on a broom and fly somewhere. And as for dragons, if you're looking at the cartoon dragon, that looks like whatever you see in a Sunday morning cartoon, well, we're not going to see them either, because the term dinosaur wasn't coined until the 1850s. Until then, we called them in the scriptures behemoth, we called them leviathan, and we called them dragons and sea serpents. Okay, those were the dinosaurs terms in the scriptures. In the 1850s, someone came along and said, look, we're going to call this a dinosaur, and that's what they did. So America is not in the scriptures either, but I assure you it is in the scriptures. It's just not called America because America was termed in the 1500s. Your supported assertion that there is no evidence for a God is incorrect, which is why your whole theory is incorrect. The scriptures are evidence. You don't accept the evidence, you mock the evidence, you say it's non-evidence, but it is evidence. There's many scientific principles that have been shown to year after year, time after time, be upheld in the scriptures, and you don't like the evidence. You think it's not valid because it doesn't uphold to your standard of evidence. Well, let me tell you something. I believe Abraham Lincoln existed. I never met Abraham Lincoln. I never squeezed his hand. I never went over his house for dinner, but I read about him in textbooks. Now, I could just say what you're saying and say, well, I don't believe the evidence. He never existed to me. Neither did George Washington. It's all a made-up lie. We never went to the moon. We could do that on every single thing. If I didn't see it and squeeze it and feel it in my hand, like Thomas putting his hand through his open wounds, I'm not going to believe it. We do need some faith to believe. I'm not going to say that it's all 100% proven. God is 100% proven. But I am going to say you do need some faith to believe it, but there is evidence of it, and you're rejecting outright any evidence of God. That's my rebuttal.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, at this time, a fair portion of his argument would be rebutted by my video on Flintstone's archaeology, because Behemoth was referring to an elephant and Leviathan was referring largely to a crocodile, though a magically enhanced crocodile who could also breathe fire, which dinosaurs could not do. And dinosaurs didn't meet any of the criteria to be the Behemoth. They couldn't fit under the trees the way that the elephants did. They didn't graze on grass because they didn't have grass. They didn't have the stones that the Bible describes. They didn't have the nose, not horn, but nose that pierces snares and all of that. So that's absolutely ridiculous. No, the Bible was not talking about dinosaurs. They had no clue what dinosaurs are. We do see molecules evolving into or changing into the basic components of life. Again, you can either see the sixth foundational falsehood of creationism where this is explained, or the more detailed video on abiogenesis where this is explained. But he says, and he wants to believe that there's evidence of God. And it's the circular argument, routing back to the assumed conclusion, which is a logical fallacy, wherein he presents the claim as the evidence. So that, what is your evidence that the Bible is true? Because the Bible said so, which means that the Bhagavad Gita is evidence of Lord Krishna. Sorry, no, but that's not what evidence is. Evidence is a body of objectively verifiable facts that are positively indicative of or exclusively concordant with one available conclusion over any other. Objectively verifiable means absolutely no faith is required whatso-fucking-ever at all. Never. Science works as the antithesis of faith. You don't have to have faith, nor do you have to imagine that anything is 100% proven. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't ever accept that anything is 100% proven. We know certain things for sure, but there's always room that we could be wrong about something, and especially if we don't know what we might be wrong about, we should be questioning that, and we should be testing that. We should defy faith and must defy faith if we are ever to pursue or be interested in finding out the truth. There is, yet again, no evidence of God. There is just the fairy tale, and there's a bunch of different fairy tales for a bunch of different gods, but the fairy tale, the claim, is not the evidence of the claim. That's a circular argument.
Enemy double kill.
So you're saying that men of God could never be wrong about the scriptures, about doctrine, and if they are, that proves that God doesn't exist? And you guys, could make any...
I'm saying that men of the cloth have never been right.
I see.
Not that they can't be wrong, but they've never been right.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Well, because there is no truth to any religion, not just yours, any of them.
I don't know how you could say that there's no faith involved in abiogenesis or life molecules can form into life forms. You see, you have a
You'd have to watch the video to explain it.
You have a male and female problem, a chicken and egg problem. You have even a plant and a seed problem. What came first, the plant or the seed? The chicken or the egg? The egg or the fertilized egg?
You might see the egg came first.
You might see molecules mutating it.
And yes, I know you said you didn't want my advice.
Actually,
I know you said
chicken came first.
Let me interrupt because you guys are now officially talking over each other during actually Arn's time. If you want to yield your time and go and have your back and forth, that's fine.
I would rather just have the back and forth. But
I
really,
agree, and I'm with you on that. I agree.
Make sure George's okay with that.
One point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can stay on 1 point. Okay, George, pick a point that I can prove you wrong about. Don't throw a whole slew of them. Pick one. Let's start with this one. No truth to any religion. Okay, there isn't. Here's the thing. Remember when I said that an unsupported assertion has no more credence than a claim that it has been proven wrong? Right? Well, you have to show me the truth. I can show you the facts proving that evolution is real. I can show you a whole long list.
They're not facts. They are not facts, sir.
I can show you a whole long list of facts. I can show you
a have like time and time because this is shouting over each other.
A list of observably. All right. Gentlemen, I don't think we're going to be able to get
Yeah,
very
you
far.
can't. Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
are
I
a
can't
little
even
bit
get the
impasse.
question out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
George.
Okay,
let
look.
it. I want to have a back and
There was
forth.
one
That's
more round
great.
left anyway.
Has been slain.
Right. There's one more round left
Okay,
anyway.
George, I'm going to try this
so-
one last time. If you want, I can
Well,
give it to you
well,
right
before
now,
you
but
start.
I know that it's going to be more than you can handle. I can show you quite a long list of objectively verifiable facts that we can prove to your satisfaction that we know for certain to be true of evolution. But you can't show me anything we know to be true of your alternate, not even hypothesis, doesn't qualify as a theory, your blind speculation about this magical creation that you believe in. You can show me no truth of it at all.
You will not be able to show me any proof that how did life got started. You can't show me proof of microevolution. I agree with microevolution. You can't show me anything beyond that.
Yes, I can.
Go
Challenge
ahead.
accepted. All right, so you want proof of macroevolution then?
Yes.
Okay, well, again, the problem is you've been grossly misinformed. Everything you've said belies your ignorance.
No, I
Do
suppose
you
it's
know
not
what,
gonna
of
be
course you don't know what
George,
macroevolution
George,
is. You do not know what macroevolution is. I
know
do,
exactly
because I've
what it
actually
is.
studied. No, you clearly do not. I can prove that I do and you don't. Once again, I can go to the most basic source. Anyone wanting to follow along, look up Evolution 101 by Berkeley University and look up the definition of what it is. Now look up the definition of what macroevolution is. Summarily described, microevolution is variation within species. Macroevolution is variation between species at or above the species level. That means that speciation is included, and it always has been included, even in apologetics arguments against evolution, before people realized that speciation had been directly observed and documented so many times, both in the lab and in naturally controlled conditions in the field. Now that they know the many times that it's been repeated, now they have to move the goalposts. But that is macroevolution. That is part of it, and we can see that in the fossil record, and we can trace it genetically too, by several different means genetically.
Okay, what you call
George, you wanna address that?
speciation. Yeah, I'd like to address that. What you call
sure.
speciation,
Has been destroyed.
I'd be happy to address. You would say that some animal is formed into a new species and it's no longer able to reproduce with the previous species. That's true. That animal has lost genetic information. It did not become a
No.
new kind of animal. That's
Because
the
there's no
problem.
such thing as a
You see,
kind. Again,
You
that's
have,
because
okay,
there's
really? That's news. I didn't know that. Thank you
There's
for that
no such
information.
thing as a kind,
Okay,
and
we
I
are
proved
humankind.
that.
No, you're trying
There
to
is no
redefine-
such thing as a
We
kind.
are
Okay.
humankind.
George, I'm
okay?
going to make
All
this.
right,
This is
we're
the
gonna have to
last
start
round.
muting. We're gonna have to start muting. We're gonna have to start muting. Okay, listen, everybody, just hang on one second.
And George, I
Address
encourage
this
you to
question.
look this up.
There you go, George.
I prove that there is no such thing as a kind in the phylogeny challenge. This is another video I did to get creationists, and I've been offering this challenge for 20 years. And I posted it in 2011 in video form to display out for everyone to prove that there's no such thing as a kind. You can't answer the phylogeny challenge. None of the people who believe you can look up can answer the phylogeny challenge. But everyone listening to you tonight can, in a moment, look up every assertion you've made to see that you've been wrong on every point. Embarrassingly so. Sir, I do encourage you, please, to look up the videos that I've mentioned tonight. The 6th Foundational Falsehood of Creationism, the Phylogeny Challenge, and Flintstone's Archaeology. Please.
You need to. You see, when I walk home from dinner and I see my wife in the other room and I see my female dog, I know my female wife is a humankind. My female dog is a dog kind. If I was going to have sexual relations, I will have it with the female humankind. Thank you.
No such thing as a kind. And you saw the debate between me and Kent Hovind, and you're repeating Hovind's nonsense tonight? You didn't learn the biggest lesson of that debate? You're still repeating his biggest failure? Why are you not embarrassed?
No distinction between canine kind and humankind. You make no distinction, sir.
Okay, for the record, Arn.
You can't answer the question. He can't answer either. He couldn't answer it, and you couldn't answer it, and no one looking at the Phylogeny Challenge can answer it because there's no such thing as a kind.
Can you once again, for those who live on another planet that may not be familiar with your phylogeny challenge, even though it's in your book and it's your videos, can you once again kind of explain it to George of what that actually means?
Sure. People who object to evolution will still accept some degree of it. As George admitted, he accepts microevolution. He doesn't understand how far it goes, but everybody that's trying to come up with a creationist alternative, like Barrowman's, for example, Barrowmanology also accepts that there is a certain level of the phylogenetic tree that is actually valid, but they don't know where to cut it off. They want to make the original kinds, where a kind is exactly the same thing as a clade in that it includes all of its descendants. But, I mean, it's monophyletic, just like clades are. But the difference is the beginning of kind. A kind is created so that you would have a spontaneous creation event. And science would look at two organisms and would call them closely related. Like he mentioned dogs and humans, which are both mammals, right? So there is a parent category for both of these. But with a created kind, there wouldn't be a parent category. There would be a category where you could show that these two things are created, they're not actually biologically related, and you'd be able to show some kind of justification for how they're not related. There wouldn't be a list of parent categories going all the way back to single-celled organisms. But nobody can do that. Nobody can answer the series of questions in the phylogeny challenge about how far down do you go, where we're talking about birds related to ducks and related to dinosaurs, or cats related to dogs, related to other mammals, and so forth. No one can, because there's no such thing as a kind.
I can. There are created kinds, and I will tell you, bacteria in a petri dish that mutates, and they do mutate, but they are, at the end of the day, bacteria. They will not leap out of that bacteria dish and become tadpoles or frogs or lizards or ducks or crocodiles or humans or monkeys or alligators.
So you're still not understanding the challenge.
I understand. The
No,
challenge
you
is
do not.
invalid.
You have no
The
idea
challenge
what you're
is
talking about.
invalid.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know what the challenge is. You're calling it invalid. You don't even know what it is. You just listened to me explain
You're
what it is,
trying to get
and
me
you
to prove to
spoke
you
that nonsense anyway.
you're-
You didn't even hear anything I just said about what it is.
You're challenging me to prove that they're not of the same origin, and I'm telling
But
you,
you
it's
did-
an invalid question.
George, you did see you did see the debate between Arn and Kent. That was a huge aspect of that, where Arn went through.
It was almost the whole thing. It was
Exactly.
asking that
I
one
was
question,
asking the same question.
and you can't
It's an
answer.
invalid question. It's like asking me.
No, it is not an
asking
invalid
something
question.
that doesn't have. It's an invalid because God created kinds. So you're trying to
No,
get
that's
everything to go back
the
to an original
assertion.
kind.
George,
Again,
what
we can
makes you
show
think?
that- All right.
Real quick, George, what
Okay.
makes you think it's an
George?
important question? I think it's critical. What's
You're trying
wrong with
to
his
say- you're
challenge?
trying- Because if you
clarify,
go
because-
to
Go ahead, try to answer it, because I mean,
okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you to ask me the challenge once more time in a more specific way for me to answer it.
Okay, you're asking me to ask you then?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
asking you.
I wish I had my beer here too, but go ahead.
Me too. Well,
Okay,
you know what, whiskey.
I'll put it the simplest way I possibly can.
Okay.
Let's see. Is the short-tailed goanna related to the parenti and all other Australian goannas? Is a yes or no question.
You know, I don't know, because I don't know if God had special kind or special speciation creation from the original creation. So I can't answer every question like that. So it might
All right,
be.
well, then you
It
can't
might have
answer the
speciated.
challenge.
They might have, you
Yeah,
know, because I
most
wasn't
people
there.
would accept-
Here's why. Here's
Most
why I
people
can't
would
answer it.
accept- Wait,
You know why I
George.
can't answer
George.
it? Insufficient
George, we're
data.
talking about.
Has been destroyed.
I can't answer it
All
because
right,
there's insufficient
I-
data.
yes,
I wasn't
yes.
there. I wasn't there
I could
6,000 years ago when
simplify
God
it even
created
more.
everything. Insufficient
Okay, I
data.
could simplify
You're
it
trying to say I know the answers, but you don't have the answers. You're trying to say I
I
should
do
know the
have-
answers, and I'm telling you, I have a faith that
I
God
do.
created everything 6,000 years ago.
I
Now,
do
did He
have
create?
faith.
Hold on,
Okay.
hold on. Did God create
You're
one
telling me all
feline?
night that I don't have
I'm not
answers,
sure.
but
You know,
I
Ken
have-
Hovind.
I
Ken
have the
Hovind would
answers.
say. Ken Hovind would say God created one feline kind. I'm not so sure that God didn't create a cheetah and a lion and maybe one or two other different types of felines. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. So I can't say. He
But
didn't
wouldn't
say
you
every
accept
single
Bengal
kind he
type-
created. I
Okay,
don't know what
all
he
right,
did.
George.
I don't know. I know they
Let
can
it- let it-
interbreed.
George, let it-
I know that.
Okay, All right, George.
But I wasn't there. I have insufficient data to answer that question.
Okay.
I don't have insufficient data. I have sufficient data. I can give you all the facts that I just mentioned.
You don't.
Yes,
You're just
you accept that macroevolution does occur.
No, I said
you already told me that I couldn't
occur.
prove that.
Microevolution occurs.
Right, and so does macro
because
macro
includes.
because
No, they
macro,
lose information when they
as a kind.
speciate. When something
There is
speciates
no
a
such thing. There is no such thing as a kind, but speciation is in the macroevolution category, and speciation does happen. You accepted that speciation does happen. You accept that that is the definition of macroevolution. Therefore, you accept macroevolution happens.
Would you engage in bestiality? Because if you say there's no such thing as a kind, you would just have sexual relations with your dog.
Oh, George.
Non sequitur.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess
that is a non sequitur.
He said he doesn't believe in any different kinds. So therefore, I can have sex with my dog because hey, we're all the same kind of animal.
No.
It's the
George,
same thing
no,
as having
no.
compatible blood types. You know.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to have to jump into hyperbole. He can't answer the question. He can't answer any question, nor can he admit, and they never will. This is why it's a foundational falsehood of creationism. Anybody that wants to know,
I wasn't there. Okay.
Look up my book, The Foundational Falsehoods of Creationism, where I explain this and explain a number of other things too, refuting everything that he said here tonight. And I'm done.
Question. I cannot answer that question because I have insufficient data. I believe God created the animals. I don't know how many different kinds of felines he created in the beginning.
None.
He might have created one. Now Ken Hovind would say he created one and they all speciated. I get that. I'm not so sure. I wasn't there. I have insufficient data. That's my answer. You don't like my answer. You say I know it all. They all started with a one single cell organism.
George, the thing is, George, he tried to.
I will concede. Hold on.
Okay,
I will concede, George, that you have insufficient data. You came in here tonight to debate somebody who dedicated his life studying phylogenies and evolution.
I didn't say you had sufficient data. I didn't say that. You don't either.
I say you said you had.
David,
You said you had insufficient data. That is correct. You came in to debate someone who spent his life studying a thing you've never read anything about. You don't know anything of what you're talking about. You don't know any of the definitions to come to the table. You have no idea. You are the kid walking into the pediatric clinic saying, I believe in the stork. Yeah, that's you. You have no idea.
Okay, David.
And I would recommend
professing to be wise became fools. They claim to know everything.
I would remind you also that according to a consensus of dictionaries, a fool is someone who too readily believes improbable claims from questionable sources on insufficient evidence. That's you. That's faith. That's what a fool is. And so it's not a surprise that the Bible and the Quran both give the opposite definition.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't get to the conclusion of how life started. Okay. You can.
The reason I want to ask that question, George, is all this is actually in Aaron's book. If you haven't seen it, read it, I would highly recommend people go out and buy it. He actually lists everything in the phylogeny challenge. He asks these questions. Are mallets related to wood ducks? And microraptors related to velociraptors.
I already know the argument.
Okay.
Good thing.
I
would remind you also that according to a consensus of dictionary, sufficient evidence, that's you. Opposite definition.
Conclusion. Mm-hmm. Well, we can't get to the conclusion of how life started. Okay. You can.
The reason I want to ask that question, George, is all this is actually in Aaron's book. If you haven't seen it, read it, I would highly recommend people go out and buy it. He actually lists everything in the phylogeny challenge. He asks these questions. Are mallets related to wood ducks? And microraptors related to velociraptors?
I already know the argument.
Okay.
Now here's my response to that. God created what works. So if he has a mallard and a duck and the different types of like pelicans, he's going to use that works. He's not going to keep re-engineering something like a duck with wheels, for instance, or a duck that walks backwards. He's going to use the model that already works. Just like when you go to a automotive showroom, they're going to use a model that works. 4 wheels, axles, and a steering wheel on the left side. They're not going to have cars with all different kind of components doing different things. And that's what you expect. You think the animal kingdom is going to do that. Well, if God created the animal kingdom, it would be logical for him to use something that works, a style that works already, and keep repeating that style in different variations.
George,
But
I
if
had,
you
I
don't
had,
want to believe in creation,
hold on,
that's a different
hold on,
story.
hold on, George,
Okay.
hold on, George. I had like I was really hoping that it's crazy to me that we got hung up on the same thing that we could not get past Kent Hovind with. I mean, that's the shame of this, because this had potential to be a really decent conversation. But if you, I just don't. Why is it so hard to grasp the kinds? Look, I'm dumb as hell. I don't know a lot about science or any of that stuff. I'm a creative type guy. I'm an artsy guy. It's very hard for me to get concepts. I think colors exist. I think triangles exist. I believe that the Sphinx is older than they tell us it is. I mean, I'm very easily gullible, but I can even grasp the kind thing. I mean, it's what you're doing is you're allowing your religion to block you from what is right in front of your eyes. I mean, it's.
I'm sorry, I don't think so. I mean, what is the problem here? We have a kind. Okay, let me tell you something. If you think there's no kinds, there should be interbreeding then. And there's no interbreeding.
No,
the Russians tried this.
The Russians
tried
ask
this
you a quick question.
The Russians tried
let me
this
ask you a
to
quick-
impregnate a shrimp. Impregnate a female with chimpanzee sperm. It didn't work.
George, there's so many different things that you're saying that this is so wrong. But we are going to have an after show after this, and you're welcome to join us. Do you want to join
But
us?
let's
for
get
an
this.
after show?
Let's get the kind thing straight, Steve.
I'm going to ask him.
Let
Let me ask him about this then. The kind. Okay. Would you say that a prairie dog is a prairie dog kind?
Before we get to kinds, you're trying to prove evolution through this
I'm
method.
not proving anything. I'm asking you a question.
No.
I'm not going to let you do this. Because, you're
We're
trying
not
to
trying
prove.
to do that.
I'm asking.
How did the
we're not trying to
first
do that.
life form start? I'm not going to let you say prairie dogs aren't similar to German shepherds. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
George,
I didn't
listen,
say
George,
George.
we're not trying to prove evolution. We're trying to get.
George,
we're not trying to prove evolution.
I'm not
That's the
debating with
farthest
you
thing we're
here.
trying to do right now.
Yeah, I'm just
We're trying to
asking you
explain the kind thing. That's it. That's
I
it.
know all about
We're not.
kinds. A dog kind, feline
No,
kind,
George.
human
No,
kind.
George. No, you don't.
There's no kinds. Okay.
No.
Well, I disagree.
Okay.
We're going to have to agree to disagree and move on.
George, you got to
I think there
stop
are kinds.
putting
You
forth
don't wanna
my
believe
words.
kinds,
I
that's
could,
your
George, let me, George, please. I'm telling you my questions. I'm asking you my questions. You don't need to add different context to them. Okay.
Anecdotes.
So let me just. Yeah, I mean, there's. This is getting weird. Do you think
We're
that
not
prairie
trying to get
dogs
you. We're
are
trying to-
kind? Yeah,
we're
right.
trying to
There's no,
get you.
there's no implicatures here with my words here. I'm asking you just very simple things. Do you think a prairie dog is a kind?
Prairie dog is what kind of like a ferret or something? One of those.
More like a type of squirrel, but yeah, it's
Something
a
like that.
squirrel.
I don't know. I'm not a total expert in this, but whatever.
Okay, there. Boom, there. Neither am I. Neither am I.
I mean,
And
is
that's
a
why
bat
I
a
wouldn't-
kind? I mean, a bat is
Okay, well, hang
probably
on.
one
Well,
kind
you're-
of bat, right?
You're mentioning kind, so I want to know if tree squirrels are a kind, if ground squirrels are a kind, if chipmunks are a kind, if prairie dogs are a kind, a marmot's a kind,
But he said something
woodchucks
important
are
there, Steve.
kind. These
said
are
there
all
something
different types of
important there.
animals.
Are we having a
in
debate
one-
on kinds?
No.
No, I'm trying
But
to-
you said something important. You said something important. You said that you don't know because you're not an expert. I don't know either because I'm not an expert. I don't know. I couldn't answer a lot of these questions.
I'm
That's an
not
honest
a
answer.
squirrel
But-
expert. I'm sorry. That's true.
Right. So that's the
Okay.
point. Why go into try to argue tooth and nail and die on a hill that you're not an expert in? You know what I mean? Like that's
I wasn't
the entire
trying to,
point.
but he's stuck on this. I tried to get him to talk about how did the
You're-
first life form get created, and he wanted to go immediately to
well-
here and stick on it. And then
Yeah,
he
you're
tried to
both
say there's no
hot-headed.
such thing as
You're both
kinds.
Look,
Yeah,
look,
but
you're
And he
both
said there's no
hot-headed
such
and-
thing as kinds. And I'm telling you, when I walk through my door, I know what the dog kind is, and I know what the human kind is. There is such a thing as
George,
kinds.
you started
That's
off
a
you started
valid
off in the-
statement.
You're using the word
I gotta
kind
say-
wrong there.
Yeah, it's because
A
I don't.
kind
we
of
don't
animal.
look at
How
them
else do
like
you
that.
use it? Nobody what?
We don't know how to use it.
We're
Yeah, it's-
humankind. That is a word in the English language. It's there. You're
it
trying to
seems to be,
redefine what humankind is. I don't know, but
No,
it's in the
no.
English language.
You
No,
know,
Can I-
it's
let me
not
ask
in
you-
English
all
language. I
right,
can look it up
hold
here
on.
right now.
Let's hold on, everybody, calm down. Let's get back to the old Earth argument because this is something that I was actually interested in.
Okay.
And let me see if I grasp the concept of that. Are you saying that? Are you one of the old Earth creationists that believes that? Maybe my brain is so scattered. Maybe I'm mixing the two. But are you the kind that believes that God made the Earth intentionally look older than it is?
No, I am of the belief that Christianity, the majority of it, has got it wrong. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void to sustain life,
Right.
just like it says
Right.
it was. He wouldn't have made that statement if he was just about to create it and make life on it. And it remained without form and void, just like planet Mars, just like any number of planets. There are dead planets. Then, about 6,000 years ago, the Spirit of God hovered upon the waters of the earth, and then he formed it during 6 24-hour day periods. That's what the Bible actually says. If you go to Genesis 2, verse 4, it's very simple. It's right there. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Genesis 2, verse 4
I know it says that.
the
I know it
day
says that.
that God made the heavens and the earth. The day. Bible, everyone says this. Scripture does not contradict Scripture. So either it's an error, or he did make it in a God day, which we know is 1,000 years to God, because we know that from 2 Peter 3, verse 8. I think it took him 1,000 years to create the heavens and the earth. For me to believe, and I think you guys would agree here, might not believe in God, but you would probably agree with this premise. For God to blink the stars into existence on day 4, where on day 1 and day 2, he moved a little land, he did a little this, he created a little light, he split up the sun, and all of a sudden on day 4, boom, he created the entire universe. Something is out of proportion there. I don't think he did that.
But let me ask you a question. When you say that it was without void up until 6,000 years ago, are you saying that everything on this planet Earth now is 6,000 years old and no later?
All life forms, yes.
Listen, okay, so how do you explain? Hold on. How do you? And I'm genuinely asking. This is not me. We're not trying to get you here. I'm genuinely wanting to get what you believe here. How do you square fossils, carbon dating, everything that says that we are here way more than 6,000 years? Tell me about dinosaur fossils.
Okay, I will. Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
You have heard that radiocarbon dating is very inaccurate. It's certainly inaccurate after 2,000 years. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's. I want you to explain. I want you guys to explain this after I read it to you. Okay. We know. You talk about the evidence of dinosaur fossils. Well, we have the recent evidence of a nodosaur found off the waters of Alberta, Canada, in 2011. This nodosaur, we are told, is 110 million years old dinosaur, was buried rapidly in the mud and was mummified and for 110 million years and retained 2,500 of its original 3,000 pounds. Well, I'm sorry. They got the part right about the nodosaur dinosaur being rapidly buried in mud.
No, it's
actually. Now we're surrounded by rock.
Okay, now it's in mud. Rock.
Okay.
So it was encased in some.
Hold on.
I've seen it.
Let's not get crazy.
Let's not get crazy.
Hold on, guys. Let's not get crazy. I want to try to salvage this. Okay. So let's say that we grant you that one. Okay. That was that is not accurate. Now, what about the other?
There are plenty of other dinosaurs. You just go on the internet, you'll see plenty of T-Rexes, Triceratops with blood and soft tissue still on them. And you're telling me that was buried for 70 million years on an active Earth? Yeah, I know, it was the iron in the blood. You expect me to believe that? We should put iron in our food supply because it was preserved for 70 million years on store shelves.
You can't really say that. You can't really ask me, do you expect me to believe that? Because you believe that the Earth was, everything that's living on Earth is 6,000 years or less. I mean, do you expect me to believe that? Do you expect me to believe that?
I don't know why you wouldn't believe it, because the scripture evidence says it, and whoever wrote the scriptures was aware of dinosaurs. And there's plenty of legends around the earth.
You know, the Inca stones.
Okay, what about Inca stones? They have hundreds of stone carvings of dinosaurs, and these people just drew imaginary fairy tale dinosaurs on the Inca stones, huh?
Okay,
you know, there's plenty of evidence around the world.
That's a good point. Okay. That's a good point. Let me ask you this then. That's a good point. Okay, they just uncovered this, or not just, but in geology sense, it's been just. But in 1994, they found Göbekli Tepe, a site that is dated back to at least 12,000 years old. How do you square that?
I don't believe the dating method's correct, and I don't believe it was 12,000 years old. And how do you, by radiocarbon dating? You know, how many errors are in radiocarbon dating? Do you just accept the errors that George, on one side they test one thing, it's 20,000 years old, and the other side is 200,000 years old? It's very inaccurate, this dating method.
George, I know about these topics. I know quite a bit about these topics, and I can address everything you've said ad nauseum if people wanted me to. However, we do want to have an after show because Aaron's left, and obviously we are salvaging this a little bit. But I don't know if you want to get into this here. But I mean,
no, keep going.
Okay. Do you? I mean, you
Tell
can't just shotgun
about the
stuff.
carbon dating.
But okay,
Tell me about
carbon
the
dating. First of all, carbon dating is a highly accurate method of dating. Most carbon dating could do about 50,000 to 57,000 years, and you can do a little bit higher, 80 to about 100,000 years, which is called accelerated mass spectrometry. But it is a well-established radiometric dating that we know we can use because it's been calibrated. We've actually said.
Yeah, no,
We used
that's
it to
not
say,
true.
okay, we know the exact date and history of this, and we've calibrated it. We know that it works. Anything that you've seen that says radiometric dating doesn't work, what do you have? Because even the RAPE project, and I talked to Dr. Humphreys quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to him the other day, and he led the RAPE project from the Young Earth Creationist. He's actually even said that RAPE from the isochron dating methods did indicate a very old Earth. However, he posited something called accelerated decay. He's now trying to give us evidence for that accelerated decay, including me, Dr. Hankey, and Dr. Lachelt. He hasn't provided it yet, but he's going to be doing an addendum in the Journal of Creation. Hopefully, he's going to mention the video that we did for this topic. But you keep making these assertions that radiocarbon dating doesn't work. Why?
Because I don't believe that dinosaur soft blood and tissue could remain for 70 million years old.
Where was
Okay,
blood?
but
Where was
see,
blood found?
But just
Where-
saying
where
that,
do you
George,
think
You don't need to go to mosquitoes to get blood from dinosaurs.
Okay. Have you read
There's
George
plenty of
Washington's
videos
papers?
on the internet about it. There's plenty of people that have been getting
I talk-
fired from the
George,
university
I-
job.
Hang on, George.
for-
George, let me
for
give you a heads up.
declaring this stuff.
George, one sec. I've talked to Dr. Mary Schweitzer. I've interviewed her. I've also was asked to read Dinosaur Blood in the Age of the Earth by Dr. Fuzz Rana on this very subject. Have you read her papers?
I've seen Dr.
Or did
Mary
you just-
Schweitzer. She said nothing in a fossil
Yes, I
record
thought-
could explain this. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, in
I'm
fear
asking you a very
of
simple
losing her
question.
job,
Have you,
in
George,
fear of
George,
losing her job, she complied with the evolutionist
okay, then you're
mafia.
calling her a liar, George. I don't like people
Yes,
lying people.
I don't know if she's
Please
lying
don't interrupt me.
or what.
It's not going to work if we interrupt each other. So please don't interrupt me. She has said specifically, because you're putting words in her mouth, which I think is dishonest. She has said specifically her job was never in danger. She didn't even have a career at the time. She was Jack Horner, her mentor at the time, fostered her and took her under his wing to say, this should be your doctoral thesis. You should work on this. And nobody ever threatened her, not a single person. You're saying that she was threatened. She says otherwise, so you're calling her a liar. Also, I challenge you, go find where she said that she found blood or blood cells. What she found was a protein called collagen, which is a very structurally sound protein. And of course, as you mentioned about iron, she found the preservational mechanism was iron, which was from the hemoglobin. But I'm asking you a straightforward question, and people that have known me for a very long time know I have very few pet peeves, but one of them is if I ask a direct question, I like a direct answer. Have you read Mary Schweitzer's papers?
I've read a couple of them, and one of them said that she asked one of her. Wait, you're not letting me answer the question.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I didn't. I read briefly over one of her papers, and I read one of her correspondence with one of her peers, and said, "Well, what would make you, what would make you question the evidence of old dinosaurs? What evidence would it take?" And the responder said, "Nothing." So they don't want to hear that
Why would that be in a
dinosaurs might be
scientific
young.
paper? I read both her
It wasn't
papers.
in a
and
scientific. I said that was a correspondence. I didn't say it was
have
in a
you read
paper.
her
I said
scientific
that.
papers?
I breezed through one of them. It was on the internet. I didn't go over it with a fine tooth comb. I know she was trying to defend
let me
the
ask you this.
establishment, and that's what she did.
Okay, George, let me ask you this question.
There are
how
some
do
people
you,
that do not agree with that, though.
I know that, but how do you determine in the Bible, since you take the Bible literally, how do you determine what is actually how it is and what is not? Because let me read you a verse, okay? There's a verse in the Bible that says the Lord is. Hold on. I'm going to let you respond, and I want to interrupt you. Just give me the same respect. From Psalms 18:2, it says, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock." Do you believe that God is actually a rock?
I never said I took the Bible literally, so you're putting words in my mouth. It's not always to be taken literally. It's sometimes Yeshua, Jesus said, "I speak in figurative language," so therefore it's not always in literal language. Sometimes in poetic language, literal language, and figurative language. So it's not. That's figurative. The Lord is my rock is figurative language. He's my strength.
Perfect.
Means he's a rock.
Good. Okay. Now, Perfect. Now, how do you determine which parts are metaphor and which parts are not?
You got to get my book, Mysteries of the Scriptures Revealed. That takes study and discernment.
Okay. So study and discernment.
Man.
So let's for a book that is supposed to be disseminated to the general masses and that anyone can find their path to salvation. Without that study and without that scholarship, how is one to determine if God is really just not a rock?
Well, the Bible is a mystery book. It's not a plain written book. So the laws are plainly written. God gives us laws, commandments. They were plainly written. When Yeshua says, I am the door, whoever knocks, I will enter. He's not a door. He said, the Catholic Church has taken this and they've taken it literally. They said, you must eat my blood and drink my blood and eat my flesh. They think they're literally doing it. And that's figurative to me.
It's weird.
But, because you have to figure these things out sometimes. It's a mystery book. It's not a simple, easy to understand book.
Good. Okay, my ultimate point, I hope you see where I'm going here. How can you say then that the earth was created 6,000 years ago and it was just not a metaphor for what people back then may think the creation story is about?
I do not claim that the earth was created 6,000 years ago.
You know what I mean? The life as we know it was created.
That life was created about 6,000 years ago. Okay, I can tell you how that happened because we traced back the lineage, or young earth creationists did, and they did this rightly. They traced back the lineage of man to about Adam, which was about 6,000 years ago. We also know from prophetic language that God is going to allow man to rule on this earth for 6 days, and when he rules in his millennium kingdom, it'll be the seventh day, figuratively speaking, which is a 1,000-year period for the millennium kingdom. So we know that the 6 days is almost up, and that was about 6,000 years ago. That takes a little reasoning, a little faith. And I'm not 100% sure about anything when it comes to scripture. I have reasoned faith.
Okay, good. That's good. I mean, that takes a lot to admit. I mean, that's very rare that you hear that. My ultimate point is that it's a big guessing game. I think that the whole creationist thing, where people get in these really tense discussions about whether it was made 6,000 years ago or whether what's the point of having the rock in space hanging out for a couple billion years? You know what I mean? Like, isn't it more simple just to think that maybe the Earth is and everything on it is actually within that time frame instead of just this hunk of a planet sitting empty for a billion years? And he's only going to use it for 6,000. Why create it in the first place?
Why create Mars? Why create Jupiter? Why
according to your
why create
belief,
mosquitoes?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you my answer to that. I'll tell you my answer to that.
Okay.
John 17 verse 5 states, Father, give me the glory I had now. And this is Yeshua, Jesus talking, that I had with you before the world was. The world was created in the beginning. So he's talking about before the world was formed for life. Now, what was God doing before the earth was created in 6,000 years ago? Well, did you ever take a peer out into a telescope? He was counting the stars. There are supposedly 100 billion trillion stars out there, probably 10 times the amount of planets around those stars. And anyone thinks that he had to do it 6,000 years ago, us is an Earth-centric view. For all we know, God created millions of life forms out there and other planets we don't know yet. So I really don't know. It doesn't say that in the scriptures one way or the other. But I do know that God was out there reigning in his universe with his son because his son said so. God, give me the glory I had with you before the world was. What glory do you have?
Wouldn't that hurt your
in the
case?
Universe.
There's a lot there, George. Let me just tell you that there's a lot there. First of all, I hope that God would have better things to do with a beautiful chunk of a planet sitting there waiting while he's off counting stars. But I can't speak to that. But let's go with the other life forms on other planets. Let's say that there are extraterrestrial life forms elsewhere. Wouldn't that really put a dent in your faith? Because if Jesus came down and died for the sins of this planet, what does that mean for life on other planets? Are they covered by that same grace? Do they have to follow Jesus in that teaching? Did Jesus go to several planets and die several times for several different planets? I mean, that seems to be a problem.
Yes, that's a valid question. I don't know if there's intelligent life on those other planets, and you might have just started here. But I do know one thing. There are non-human, non-angelic creatures in the kingdom of heaven, according to the scriptures. The 4 living creatures are not angels and they're not humans. They're described in the book of Revelation, and they have eyes behind their head, and one has a head like an eagle, and different various. I don't have the book open right now before me, but they're not human and they're not angelic. They don't have the form of humans. So there are creatures in heaven that are not human and not angels, and they're not God. So
does that seem more reasonable than we evolved from a species that is very close to us? That there are creatures in a place with eyes in the back of their head. I mean, come on.
In the atmosphere today. So
that is true.
You physical theory that then is drawn from that. It's a philosophical. Well, no. Methodological naturalism just says this is the means by which we can use to understand some of the normative processes within the universe.
Is science ever able to use anything other than naturalism or materialism?
It depends on what type of conversation you want to get into within, the philosophy of science. It depends when you start getting into cosmological theories, when you start getting into a little bit more of these, a little bit more of the abstractions, then yeah, you might be able to get mathematical proofs and things like that.
You said the 3 categories: naturalism, obviously science is going to be natural, and materialism again, and then of course atheism. In all 3 cases, you're not ever going to have a scientific argument wherein a scientist can ever posit that a god is the explanation for anything.
They won't be able to posit God as a naturalistic explanation for anything.
No, period. Just not in science ever, under any circumstances at all.
I'm not sure that I agree with that. I think certain cosmological. Well, let me back up. If they are trying to say that this is somehow a scientific explanation for something, then yes. I don't think God is a scientific explanation of anything. So if they're doing that, then yes. I think a scientist may be able to do via abduction, may be able to do some type of sufficient explanation, like certain cosmologists would do when they're dealing with something like fine tuning, or when they're dealing with something like why there's something rather than nothing. They might be able to do something like that. You might then say, well, that gets into philosophy of science rather than methodological science, which is fine. I can grant that for the sake of argument.
If we're talking about the combination of materialism, naturalism, atheism, that sounds to me like we're talking about science, because there is absolutely no occasion ever, period, where a scientist gets to say this is evidence of God, right? I mean, and when I say that, I mean that there's no way to there's no way to test for that, and there's no way to falsify that, right? So if you posit any explanation for something, you have to have the indication that is the thing that's doing it. It's not just that you don't. If science can't explain something, and this is integral to the discussion that we're having right now. If science can't explain something, that means it's unexplained. That does not mean that it's an indication of God. Do we agree?
Well, no, we don't. So this is the difference. So naturalism. So this is the difference between something like methodological naturalism and philosophical naturalism, right? Methodological naturalism is the process where we can only use material or naturalistic means to try and attempt to explore the normative processes within the universe. Naturalism is a metaphysical theory that then is drawn from that. It's a philosophical position that says that the only things that exist, the only types of explanations that are even possible because the only thing that exists are naturalistic things. That's a philosophical position.
And philosophical naturalism is significantly different than metaphysical than methodological naturalism. Because methodological naturalism is concerned with the things that we can test, which means that they have to be natural. They can't be dreamlike. They can't be wispy, magical, in and out of reality kinds of things. Right?
Right. Well, and this is where
has never been a case where a scientist has said, we can't explain this, therefore God. Because that is the definition of the God of the gaps fallacy. And that just
I agree, which is a fallacy. Yeah. And I agree that's a fallacy. The fallacy of moving from we can't explain this, therefore God, right? If the argument is it's mysterious to us, therefore miracle, that would be an invalid argument, right? And by the way, that would be just as fallacious as saying we can't explain this, therefore natural. The only position you could say is we can't explain this, therefore we can't explain it.
Right.
That's the most you can get out.
Nobody says we can't explain this, therefore not God.
I do my own stuff.
But curious,
Well,
in your discussion, what you said to me, which immediately piqued my interest, when you said that not only that it would change your perspective, cause you to question your belief, but it would actually falsify your belief, was if science had an explanation for these things, which means that having an explanation equals no God. Well, transversely, then doesn't that mean that not having an explanation indicates God?
No, because my position isn't having an explanation qua an explanation. Just having an explanation of any kind or any valid explanation, therefore means not God. Because I think God is an explanation of those things. The argument that the statement that I made was if you had an explanation that invalidates the transcendental or the metaphysical need for God as an explanation for those things, would cause me to have some major doubts about my current convictions and my current beliefs, because right now, because I'm not a naturalist, I'm not an empiricist. Right, I disagree. You and I are going to disagree. I don't think God is a scientific question. I think it's a metaphysical question. It would cause me to basically have every leg of my current structures knocked out, except for maybe personal experience, which, as we discussed, or I think I was answering to someone from the audience. Personal experience might be a self-warranting thing, but personal experience doesn't really function, I don't think, as any type of evidence that I could provide to somebody else. Well, at least not a very strong kind. We might allow for personal experience for some things, but for something like a God claim, personal experience might not be a very strong form of justifying evidence that you can provide to somebody else.
Okay, well, I'm going to push back on the other point that you say that God is an explanation of these things. Clearly, God does not qualify as an explanation for any under no circumstances. I mean, there are requirements for what is an scientific argument. That is what we're talking about today. We're talking about methodological naturalism, not necessarily philosophical naturalism. We're talking about atheism, which means that we're not going to include a God in the scientific explanation. And the materialism, again, is just a redundancy. We're just talking about material things. There's not a way that we could ever say that magic was ever a part of anything. So I mean, there's no way. There's no way to test for that. There's no way to isolate it. There's no way to falsify it. And we have to have a way to show whether something is not true. Right? And there's no way to falsify the God, and there's no way to incorporate a God as an explanation for something. There's no way to, in following the rules of what a scientific explanation is and requires, there's no way to implicate God as an explanation.
Ally has been slain.
And at that point, I would simply give the same pushback that I gave in our debate, which is effectively, well, that's all fine and well, but all you're doing is presenting what historically was logical positivism, which is now kind of crassly called scientism. Right? You're effectively saying the only type of knowledge that we can have, the only type of explanation that we can have, qua explanation. There exists no other type of explanation. There exists no questions, no realms of inquiry, no nothing that isn't scientific. You're just bracketing off everything else from the get-go.
As I told you in our debate, if magic was real, there would be people who could demonstrate it. There would be ways to defeat it. And even if we couldn't explain how it work, that we would at least be able to verify that there's a there. There would be a Gandalf or a Spock or an Obi-Wan or a Harry Potter who was going to be able to demonstrate that these things work and happen.
Or a resurrection of but that's
or resurrection of a whole army of the undead. There's lots of things going on. And there would be ways of verifying that those things are actually reliably real. It would be able to be demonstrated. You would have faith healers working in hospitals. Or patients would be wheeled into churches rather than hospitals, and they would be healed there by the magical healing just as reliably as any doctor. But we don't have that. So the excuse then becomes, well, that because it's supernatural, then there's no way to test for it, and there's no way, and we'll never accept when it's wrong. And if we can never accept any means by which it can be wrong, because God could always create illusory situations so that we have all of this evidence implying. Let's see, like last Thursdayism. We could all have false memories implanted by God, and we all think that we were born decades ago when really we all came into existence last Thursday. And all of these things are illusions just to conceal God's existence. So there's no way to falsify it, which is another reason that God can't be an explanation. Now, if God were real and didn't create all of these illusions, then we would have some indication to his existence. We'd at least have indication of some sort of a supernatural something happening somewhere, but we don't. And we do have expressed rules for what qualifies as a scientific explanation, and God doesn't meet those criteria. And these are not criteria that I set. This is what the scientific community says, and what philosophy says. Not what was it, the type of philosophy you keep trying to ascribe to me?
Metaphysics. Well, logical positive.
Yeah, right. Which doesn't. I mean, I don't know why everybody wants to pin that on me. It's just because I say that you shouldn't be able to. You should not state something as fact if you can't show it as fact. That's it. Other people think you can. You can just throw out your opinion as if that's the way that it is, and that's dishonest. And the fact that I say that it is dishonest does not qualify me as a logical positivist. If anything,
well, it would actually. So
that falls into the philosophy of after logical positivism, and is the current working model after logical positivism.
Well, it's hardly working. So here,
philosophy of science is hardly working. Tell me how well magic works. I mean, science actually does.
I don't affirm magic though. So
yeah,
this,
like the end of your emails, all of your emails to me end with blessing, right? You know what a blessing is? It's a magical enchantment. It's the opposite of a curse. It's a positive enchantment instead of a negative one. So when you tell someone to have a blessed day, I hear have a magically enchanted day, because that is exactly what.
Well, this has come up, I think, in several debates that we've had, right? So this is simply, I'll try to say this as respectfully as I can. This is simply question begging of, I don't like your terms and definitions, I'm going to use mine, and so therefore that's what you must mean by it.
I can use yours. We will say supernatural. Yeah. The audience will understand that supernatural equals magical equals supernatural. They all get that. If you don't want to accept that, that's fine. I don't have to pin that.
That's fine. That's just. But that's
we'll stick with the word supernatural, and somehow you can wish people enchantments, and you can believe in curses, and you can believe in the golem spell, and all somehow that doesn't qualify as magic for you for reasons that are entirely your own, and I don't care.
What's that?
But we see it differently. It doesn't matter how you see it.
But if you're trying to engage with, so this is where I would come back and say, well, if you want to be a reasonable person, if you're trying to engage with someone else's view, right? So if you're trying to give an internal critique of my view, right, which you are, then you need to use the concepts and the terms as we understand it, right? If you say I don't care what concept you have, this is how we understand it. That supernatural equals magic, and that's just what it means. Okay, I mean that's fine. That might be how.
Regardless what leverage I want to give you, right? You understand that an enchantment and a curse are both aspects of magic, right? You understand that both of that remains the case regardless what we say, right?
Well, then you could say, I mean, you could have guilt by association, right? You could also say, well, magical incantations use words, poetry uses words, therefore poetry is magic. right? Just because
Well, I didn't do
there are
that, but you
similarities,
understand that a curse
because
in the
there's
Bible.
similarity,
Do you
doesn't
believe in
mean they're
curses?
the same thing.
Do you
Do
believe
I
in
believe in curses? It depends what you mean by curses.
the curses that are in the Bible? Do you believe that believe in the curses in the Bible?
I believe that God blesses and curses people. Yes.
Okay, but you don't accept that blessings and that blessing is an enchantment. Apparently, you don't accept that.
An
Fine,
ally
we'll
has
just let
been
that go.
slain.
Curses. I don't think anybody argues that curses are definitely within the realm of magic, even if you don't accept blessings as being a positive alternative to that. That's still but it doesn't matter. We'll say supernatural and we'll forget the word magic whenever we're talking to you. Okay?
Yeah, because again, not the concept.
And I get
but here, but I want to go back to something that I found interesting. So you said, and you know, try. I'll see if you can rephrase. You said something like, if something isn't falsifiable, it cannot qualify as an explanation. Right? Which, by the way, is why people call you a logical positive. That's just that's
because they're
the
mistaken for
principle of
verificationism, which doesn't apply in my case for subtlety. Nobody's really going to care about.
No, verificationism is something
And I don't subscribe to verification.
Falsification is something can't be an explanation.
Right, I don't subscribe to verificationism.
Yeah.
I also accept, as I told you in the debate, that I accept that we can also use logic as opposed to just pure empirical science.
Right. So if you grant that, though, then if you're granting that you can use logic, right, then you're granting that I can actually use metaphysical explanation. Right, I can use, and by metaphysical, I don't mean supernatural. Right, the multiverse is a metaphysical explanation for the existence of the cosmos. Okay. Metaphysical simply means a grounding explanation that is outside of the natural observable universe. Right, the multiverse, as the multiverse, would itself be unobservable and governed by different laws of nature than our own. We would not be able to observe it. We could only infer it as a type of metaphysical ontic foundation for the existence of the universe.
But regardless, we're talking today about whether atheism, materialism, naturalism, collectivism, we're talking science here.
But I'm challenging your principle that God cannot be an explanation.
Oh, if God were real,
if
God were real, we could show that they're there. Right? We would be able to show the property that way. But we don't get that. What we get are excuses for why we can't ever test God, or why we can't indicate God, and why we can never falsify the God hypothesis. So if it can't be indicated, verified, or falsified, there's no way to show that it's right or prove that it's wrong, that it provides exactly nothing. It cannot qualify as.
And that's do you say the same thing about the multiverse theories? Do you think that those are just quack cosmology?
I don't say that that's not so it doesn't really qualify.
Well, the thing that I want to get back to, so because I think the way you're phrasing it, and I know you don't like it, I think your version of the falsification principle is logical positivism. I'm not accusing you of verification. I think you're falsification.
All right, so I think you believe in magic and you want to pretend that I'm a logical positivist. You're not going to be able to make that argument, but you're welcome to pretend that if that's what you mean. It doesn't matter.
Well, here's what I'm going to explain.
I'm not a logical positivist for the reason I've already explained, and you reject. So you want to call me that anyway. A lot of Christians want to call me that. I get it because I think it is dishonest to assert baseless speculation as though it were fact, and that's what all religion depends on. So I say you can't state it if you can't show that it is true, and then everybody wants to call that verificationism, and bing, logical positivism. I'm just trying to be honest, and I think the people talking to me should be honest too.
Well, here's why I think that position is internally self-defeating, right? It's reflexively destructive. No. The falsification principle that you rely, right?
Okay, so that you shouldn't state something is true unless you can show that it's true. You can't show that it's true. You can say that I believe that it's true or that I believe that it's true. Why? And that would be honest. You're going to object to that?
I'm going to object to your falsification principle that you're using to defend that.
What is my falsification principle?
You said that if something cannot be falsified, then it cannot be a reasonable explanation.
It can't be indicated or vindicated, verified, or falsified. There's no way to show that it's true, and there's no way to prove that it's false. It contributes nothing. We don't know that there's anything there. how do we even determine? And there are rules of science that I did not apply. You know, like you can look them up in Stanford
Your turret has been
Encyclopedia of
destroyed.
Philosophy on scientific
Enemy
explanation. It
killing
goes into
spree.
the detail about what this is, and I'll make sure to put a link below. These are not rules that I made up, and they're not logical positivism. Okay. This is the philosophy of science as it is today.
Okay.
The reason that you can't use God as a qualifier is because, one, whatever you say about the explanation for any of the things that we're about to get into has to be a true statement. And you can't just assert things that you can't show to be true. You can't. It's not true because you say it.
Great.
You get that?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. The point that I'm getting at is that your own position is not falsifiable. So if I were to ask you,
falsifiable.
Okay, if you're in principle saying that God cannot be an explanation. It cannot be an explanation.
If God were real, we would
the whole thing. Yeah, I get it. All that kind of thing. So now I'm going to ask you, what would falsify your statement? What would falsify your naturalism? What kind of evidence could ever be presented that could demonstrate the existence of God?
Okay, I'll repeat the answer that I've explained already once on the show and already during our debate.
Yep.
If the supernatural were real, there would be ways of demonstrating that. Right? There would be faith healers. There would be
let's just do one at a time.
demonstrations that prayer actually works. You'd be able to do it in controlled circumstances.
That's fine. Pick the biggest, largest type of evidence that you think would be the clearest image. I mean, God, rewriting your name in the stars, whatever.
As I explained to you before in our debate, I will accept anything that qualifies as evidence. And since we are talking about science, then it's going to be scientific evidence, which means a body of facts, which means objectively verifiable data that positively indicates one position over any other alternative.
Right. Great. Perfect. So what you've just said is that categorically God cannot be a scientific explanation. And
God was a metaphysical argument and not a scientific one.
That's fine. But you've also said the only things that I would accept are scientific explanations.
Yeah. And
that the only evidence that you would accept for an explanation are scientific evidence. So what you basically just said is, assuming that God does not exist, I would accept evidence to the point that God does not exist,
or
as evidence that God does exist.
I would accept evidence that God exists.
Except you set the standard that God cannot exist or cannot be evidenced by the type of evidence that you said you accept.
The explanation that I gave for that is the believers refuse to allow a means of falsification. So if you don't allow that you're falsified and it doesn't contribute anything to knowledge, if there's no way to show that there's a there, then we have nothing to work with. I'm happy to accept if you want to present scientific evidence of God and a means of falsifying it, I'll be happy to accept it. And in fact, you gave the topic of the discussion, what you said, there were 5 different falsifying, and I'm very curious about that. The first
and we can get to those, but I want to finish this line before we move on from it, right? So you're saying if you could give me scientific evidence, but in your definition of scientific evidence, you're saying it cannot demonstrate God. So you're saying I would accept as evidence for the existence of God something that categorically cannot be evidence for the existence of God. So therefore, your view is not your view itself is not falsifiable.
Okay,
because you're saying the only type of evidence that could falsify my view is evidence that can't falsify my view.
Wrong. You gave a scientific answer. You gave a scientifically adequate answer in when you said that your view would be falsified under these criteria. Now that's fascinating that you gave a means of falsification. The thing that is confusing and that needs to be worked out is that you then contradicted yourself by saying that God is metaphysical, which takes it out of the means of falsification that you yourself laid out. And you also said that you were an empiricist, and then you gave a handful of things, 5 things that you listed, most of which are actually based on science.
Well, I actually said I'm not
dependent on evidence. So if you're not an empiricist, then why would those things even matter to you? And these are the things that we need to work out before we can even get to this.
Because and you have to remember again, I'm not an empiricist, right? As I said, I'm not a naturalist. I don't agree with you on this falsification principle because I think we can falsify things without empirical evidence. So, for example, if someone says all P's are Q, I have an A, therefore I have a Q, I can know that that's false without any type of empirical evidence whatsoever because it's logically incoherent. Right? I don't need empirical evidence to know that's false. I simply disagree with you that the only way to falsify something is via empirical evidence. And I think that I've shown that your position itself on falsification itself cannot be falsified. And so by that route, by your own standard, can't be true.
No,
because any evidence. So if I trotted out faith healers, right? You're going to say, well, why would a faith healer?
My ability, and what I'm saying is, there's two prongs here. You have to show that there's a there, and you have to show that it's right, or prove that it's wrong, and you should all be able to do both. Right? There should be a way to show that it's right and prove that it's wrong. If God exists, there should be a way to show that there's evidence of that and find a way to prove that if God did not exist, then hypothetically, then there would be these problems, circumstances that would be able to falsify them. Right?
Or we can do it abductively apart from empirical evidence because it's not a scientific question. Right, but if you're saying it must be done scientifically,
this conversation, you said yourself that it is a metaphysical argument. So
Correct.
then you started arguing with me that it should be.
I agree that it's a metaphysical. That's my point.
Then we agree on this. Okay, so for different reasons, I grant, right? We agree, and so we should just set that aside. And then I get to the next thing about why would you say that it would falsify, and not just get you to rethink your position, but why would it falsify, as in, i.e. disprove God, if science had an explanation for any of the 5 things that you mentioned? Why would that be?
Well, if science had an explanation for something like the existence of the universe, I'm not even sure categorically how that would be possible since science only describes things within the universe. If that would be even possible, that would mean that the claim that God is creator, for example, or that God is the prime mover, or the necessary condition, or something along those lines, is false. Because it's for the same reason why the religious claims, which I don't equate to Christianity, but the religious claims that Thor is causing the lightning would be falsified, right? Because if you could give a material or a natural explanation in place of a metaphysical one, then you have a real shot at showing that the metaphysical realm, the metaphysical explanations are no longer valid explanations. In the same way that the kind of pagan, and I say pagan not necessarily in a derogatory way, but I mean in the religious sense of the big, strong Superman up on Mount Olympus type of explanations causing the thunder, the same way that those really were attempts at giving quasi-natural explanations for natural events. They were trying to give normative explanations for things like lightning. Those are simply different than what we're talking about here as God is the explanation. But if you can say that the natural explanation impedes into the realm of the metaphysical explanation, then that would edge out the metaphysical explanation from possibility. I just don't think it does.
Okay, so you had a debate with did that happen?
No.
Did that debate never happen?
I've never talked to Kent Hovind in my life.
Okay. I could have sworn it was. No. I'm sorry. That I got you confused with somebody else. So my apologies there. That's correct. I did get you confused with someone else. So what the point that I wanted to make was, people have used that same argument for evolution, right? That if you have a scientific explanation for evolution, that would disprove God. But of course, once there was a scientific explanation for evolution, then suddenly you had a whole host of scientists who happen to be Christians who say, well, we fully accept that there's evolution and that it's God guided. So that whatever scientific explanation we have came about that way because of God. So God,
Right.
God just designs everything to be the way that it looks completely natural.
Your
And
inhibitor has been
I
destroyed.
100% agree with you that that is an ad hoc. That's actually not a good way. I think that the people who have made that move to a kind of theistic explanation, I agree with you that that is not a good. That's not a good way to handle it. I would simply point out historically that the position that has gone away from seeing God as the tinkering God into evolution. It existed long prior to the existence of evolution. I mean, and we talk about this in the debate, that the young Earth position, the creation science position, actually is relatively new. That is not the historical way that Christians have understood God's interactions with His own creation. So I'm in this way probably very different than the fundamentalists that you're used to talking to, the anti-evolutionary Christian quote-unquote science believers that you're probably used to talking to.
While I am used to talking to them, I talk to a gamut.
You're right. I know. I'm just saying that tends to be the majority of those who are very vocal in these discussions, and in a lot of ways, I would stand shoulder to shoulder with you in critiquing them. I mean, I have lots of things critiquing, Ken Ham, for example.
Well, good to hear that. But
you
know
know
what I mean? That we have the explanation of evolution, and many people have said that the evolution explanation was supposed to disprove God. But I mean, very few people in the atheism ever thought that evolution disproved God. There was religious people who generally made that argument, and then those who rejected evolution, of course, would still make that argument, and that's why they reject evolution. And then other people would just simply accept evolution and say that it's God backwards. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
What my point is, that having the scientific explanation does not disprove God, at least in this instance. So why should it in 5 instances be engaged?
Right. Because and if you could indulge me for about 30 seconds on this. The problem with that is again that when evolution first came out, most Christians actually didn't have a problem with it. And what happened was that the dispute started to come around, not that it disproved God, but that it disproved something like Adam as the first man, and therefore the fall, and therefore sin and all that kind of thing. And so it started to corrode a very literal understanding of Genesis. And so then it basically, instead of just falsifying that literal understanding of Genesis, you've spoken to fundamentalists. They basically think, well, my understanding of this passage just is God. If you disagree with me, you're disagreeing with God. And so if you disagree with this, you're denying God. Right? And so they make that leap. And so therefore evolution turned into, well, evolution disproves God, because they just equated their view with God. Now, like I said with the thunder and lightning thing, the reason why that was a problem for them was because their understanding of how God related to His creation was a very mechanistic, very immanent understanding, where God is almost a tinkering God. God was the one. God was the ghost in the machine. God was actually the one causing and upholding directly the normative processes. He was directly in creation itself. That hasn't historically been the view of Christianity. That's not even the majority view now. That's a very late modern Western, very American evangelical fundamentalist position. It's actually an extreme minority in the history of the church.
Are you familiar with Sir Richard Owen?
No, I'm not actually.
He's the one that built the British Museum of Natural History. Fantastic. You ever been?
Unfortunately, I haven't.
One of the most
been. I love
magnificent buildings I've ever seen in my life. But he was the foremost authority on paleontology in the world in his day, and he was Darwin's mentor, but he was also a creationist of a strange sort. And he, although this was in England in the 19th century, and he argued that God was the tinkerer that you're talking about, that he created Dinosaurs. He refused to allow people to believe that dinosaurs were
Your
fast and
inhibitor is
warm-blooded,
respawning
efficient
soon.
animals because he insisted that Sir Richard Owen believed that God created and improved on his next model. So he would let some species become old and sluggish and fat and slow, and then he would replace them with more efficient ones. So he thought that lions and tigers and bears replaced, Megalosaurus and so forth.
Right. Which I mean, that would just be an example of that tinkering type of mentality that goes.
Yeah, I bring it up only because you said that this idea was very American, and clearly it
Yeah,
didn't start here.
the idea of Christian science. You can read Ronald Numbers, not a Christian at all. He has a book called The Creationists, and he traces the history and kind of the lineage of this creation science movement. There's a couple tentacles that go back in history, but by and large, it's an outworking of the Seventh-day Adventist movement, and then really gained steam in the 70s. But going all the way back to the question, because this has been somewhat interesting divergent, but divergent nonetheless. To go back to your question, the reason why I think it would falsify, or at least go a very long way towards it, is that if science, if you could give natural explanations for metaphysical things, right, that would basically show that metaphysical explanations can be natural explanations. And it would effectively move God out of any type of meaningful explanation. In any category. Not, you would say that an explanation that can't be, meaningfully falsified or defended by a scientific evidentiary means and all that kind of stuff.
Or supported. It doesn't.
Yeah. Right. But even on my position, I'm saying, okay, I don't hold that type of falsification principle because I think there can be these metaphysical explanations. There's no other type of explanation that I would find interesting or compelling or meaningful outside of metaphysical explanations. And so if the natural explanations can come into that realm, that would be a type of worldview revolution that science did in the natural realm, where it basically said, let's get God out of the tinkering game. Let's get rid of those type of God as a naturalistic explanations, which I think was good that it did that. If science could then give these metaphysical explanations, if there could be natural explanations for those, then there would be no place where God is a meaningful explanation on any standard of explanation, yours and mine.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to push back that there isn't a condition where God is a meaningful explanation, or an explanation at all, meaningful or not, regardless. Not when we're talking about science. And we are talking about science here. It's naturalism, materialism, atheism that provides the answer, because that's collectively that's science. And one of the rules for that, and according to philosophy, is that the explanation, you can't posit an explanation that isn't true. Now, I'm sorry, you could shout back to verificationism, and that means logical positivism. It doesn't, and I can prove it. But that is one of the rules outside of logical positivism. In the philosophy of science, it's a requirement that the explanation must be true. That means you can't just assert whatever you want to be true. You can't just claim absolute truth. You've got to be able to show the truth of it. Does that make sense to you?
It depends on what you're saying, that an explanation has to be true. So, if you could hash that out, because I think I think I know what you mean, and I probably agree with you. But if you mean that the explanation must be true in the sense that in order to posit the explanation, it has to be. Again, what do you mean that it has to be true? Can there be no?
I'll give you a link. I'll give you a link to the Stanford philosophy of science, or Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, where it talks about what is a scientific explanation. I'll let you read that if you want to pick up the conversation again at a later date. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, one of the other rules is that it has to cite a law. In order to be an explanation in science, it has to cite a law. Another reason God kind of removes himself from being eligible for explanation.
and again, I mean, this could be the world's shortest conversation. If you mean that God is not a good scientific explanation of the normative processes of primary, I'm okay. I mean, okay.
Okay, well,
At
we
that
are
point,
talking
I'm
about.
just gonna say,
You
I'm
said
just gonna say okay.
it would falsify your belief in God if materialism, naturalism, atheism, science could explain any of these 5 things.
But you have to remember, so I don't agree with your equivocation of those as science.
Okay,
Right.
how would we
so if
do?
you're- so if
How,
you're
how do we
questioning
distinguish
my
then? How do we
understanding of what I've
distinguish
said of
then
it,
atheism coming up with an explanation? Because atheism is just, I'm not convinced that an actual deity really exists. That's it. That's the limit of atheism. Period.
that's again, I have questions about that as a meaningful definition of something. I think that there are clear instances where atheism does not mean that or functionally do that.
I don't think you do.
But for the sake of argument, that's fine. I mean, we can use that as I'm not a definitional objectivist. I don't think words have static definitions.
No, nor do I.
So that that might be the concept of atheism that you want to use in this in this dialogue.
The one that
and
has
that's
the one that has predated Huxley, yes, the one that has been in use for centuries, and is still in use unchanged today. Yes.
Okay, that's a definition of atheism. I'm just
the definition of atheism that the atheist movement is using.
Concept, sure. Again, I would give pushback, but I don't think that's the point of this conversation.
I don't think you can. I really don't think you can in this case.
Oh, I could.
No, I don't think you can.
Actually, rather
and that
easily.
What that requires is that you either back down or cough it up. So you can either say, okay, well, at another time, or if you want to push, bring it.
Right. I mean, if you want to go in, I'm just saying because that's not generally the topic now. But if you want to do it
the topic now,
then
okay. So I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'll leave that you can't do it, and we can have a later conversation where we can prove that you can't do it.
Okay.
But for right now, we'll just go in.
Doubt is the greatest enemy.
bland. It needs a splash of red. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn."
The chicken or the egg? Actually, I came first.
Know what else is funny? Pulling your tongue out through your neck. Minions have spawned.
They say the desert is a cruel mistress. I like the sound of that.
I love it when they talk dirty. No, please, stop torturing me. I can't feel anything until they do. Drink the pain, wash away the rest. Scream. It makes it better. The more I cut away, the worse it will get. Enough for you. That means stop. First blood. Keep them longing, make them freed. Let me see you hurt. Things I'm gonna do. An ally has been slain.
And just a little pain did the trick. Don't die wishing you'd had this. Always leave them wanting more. Girls just want to tear your throat out with their teeth. A man once told me to put on some clothes. So I wore his skin.
An enemy has been slain.
How their screams make me tingle. Just looking for that special. That's it, love. Put your guard down. Oh, thought you were getting lucky. Hit me too nice. 'Need to find me? Just follow the trail. 11 and move on. The night is my veil. Let's see. Something to kill the emptiness.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been
All
slain.
my exes are dead. Don't go anywhere. I feel their looks like hot breath. They feel my claws like hot knives.
Shut down.
Let Evelyn take over.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. can touch that they can't. An ally has been slain. How about a kiss? An ally has been slain. Harder. Okay. Stalk and seduce. It's better in the dark. I can't feel anything. Come on. An enemy has been slain. Wait for me, sweetie. A girl's got nowhere to disappear. They all look the same in the dark. I hurt them till they hurt no more. This craving will soon be sated. Turret plating will fall soon. Are you lonely? I can help. Let's play hard to get. The things I'm gonna do. Okay, my turn. Down. Enemy double kill. The height of their happiness is the depth of their pain. Ooh, I like to watch. Without pain, how would they know pleasure? Let's sneak around. Caught between a little bit of heaven before the hell. Play more later. The night is my veil. An ally has been slain. You really don't know. Enemy
until you've seen them beg for mercy.
Enemy killing spree.
What you see?
Oh, God, I
What they don't know won't hurt them.
yet.
That's it, love. Let your guard down. Once I was overwhelmed by the agony. Now I can't get enough. Image not.
Enemy killing spree.
That's something. Guess who's back for more?
Your team has destroyed a turret. Enemy rampage.
Malevolent takeover.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Stalk and seduce.
Enemy rampage.
Scream. It makes it better. How about a kiss?
An enemy is unstoppable.
So, they like it rough.
Enemy has been slain.
Come on, touch me.
Enemy quadra kill. Aced. Defeat.